live once again. Sorry for the connection issues. We had a bit of a complication in the Capital One offices, but once again, hopefully for the last time, I am Reza Sprintspeed Mahmoud, joined by...
I'm Paul Mougu, and we are pleased to present the grand finals of the Capital One circuit, featuring teams Team 12 and Gr8b8m8.
Yeah, this is, hopefully this is going to be a great stream.
Obviously it's a red screen.
Yeah. We will get the game up. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
You should see the games on your browsers just about now.
Yep. Not sure what happened to the audience camera there, but anyways, going forward into this game, hopefully they can re-invite me to the lobby so we can actually cast it. But yeah, I am really excited to see these two teams crash head to head.
There's the invite, and this will be a best out of 5 game, which means a lot of
Indeed.
excitement. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. There we go. Sorry.
Everything is awesome. But yeah, going forward, White captain of Team 12 and Gr8b8m8 being led by Hanguk Jr. himself.
Otherwise known as the
Jiwoo.
Nightcrawler.
Or Nightcrawler. He started the tournament as Nightcrawler. Changed his
Oh, the
name.
stream is stream seems to have a little lag
Looks like it
right
might
now.
be lagging a little bit. Hopefully it should be okay. But
See if we can change up the settings a bit.
I'll lower the bitrate for the
Okay.
audio.
Okay. I
Hopefully
don't
that'll
know
help.
how much that's gonna help.
Hopefully that'll help a little bit going forward with the how smooth the stream is. Looks like it might be a little bit choppy.
Yeah. And we are live at the Capital One headquarters in Vienna, Virginia.
Yeah, special thanks to Capital One for hosting us in their offices. This is pretty sweet. But yeah, they have sponsored the whole tournament themselves, giving some prizes to our players once a winner is chosen. I'm pretty excited to see this one play out. And I believe we should be good to go.
But we see Team 8 here. Gr8b8m8, formerly Team 8, which is why they have all the 8s in their name. But Gr8b8m8 seems to be complaining about a little bit of lag.
Yeah, hopefully it'll
Hopefully
get a
that,
little better.
Hopefully it doesn't affect the
throughout the
games
day.
too much.
We can also swap sides a little bit.
Yeah.
Swap rooms if they want to.
If they want to,
to
yeah.
even it out. But I think we're ready to go. I'm really excited. We talked about this a little bit before the stream went down due to the lag problems. But going forward, Team 12 has had their very signature aggressive style, centered around 80 carries that are really good at fast pushing the towers, as well as really strong early game junglers like an Elise, which has been picked 5 times by the jungler, and champions like Lee Sin.
Definitely a favorite from their jungler. We'll might see an Elise ban coming out from Gr8b8m8.
Yeah, Gr8b8m8 has actually banned Elise against other teams in the past.
Right.
And while these two teams have never fought each other going forward, if they've done their research, hopefully they are aware that Elise is definitely the go-to champion for the jungler on Team 12, which is G-Hens.
And we do see the mid laner of Team 12, Z Winston, favoring and really only playing those long-range, like mage-type mid laners.
Yeah, he's picked Xerath several times. He's also played Anivia. He did have a couple games on Fizz, but those are just in the group stage. And looks like we are going into Champion Select. What are we going to see going for the bans?
I think we should see an Elise come out from Gr8b8m8, but they actually decided to take out Hecarim first.
Yeah, and
Hecarim being really strong in this preseason patch.
oh yeah, Hecarim was actually played by Team 12 earlier on in the tournament, so kind of worried about that early game pressure, especially because GBM, Ganked by Mom, has played Rumble 3 times, so he might be afraid of the very aggressive top lane, and a Lux ban, that is really huge.
That was expected, because
Mechlamax,
he only picks Lux.
yeah, pretty much every game. He loves that champion.
Yeah, and we actually do not see Elise being banned out by blue
Wow,
team.
left open. I wonder if they're going to first pick that there. You also have Tom Kench, which is a very strong pick right now, obviously.
Right. And we
Kindred
do
is
see the
also
Tom
up.
Kench coming in. And I don't think that Gr8b8m8 is going to pick Elise because Hanguk is not really known to play junglers that are like Elise. He loves to devour his junglers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what kind of we referenced earlier,
Yeah.
where Gr8b8m8 likes to play kind of a risky, weaker early game style,
Yeah.
playing champions like the Vayne sometimes, and then like Jax and just champions building Devour, so that in the late game, Hanguk can carry his team on his shoulders.
Yeah. Because as we know, Devour junglers, in combination with that Ginsu's Rage Blade, become very strong real fast.
Indeed, and we'll see what they pick forward. Another contested pick was actually Braum by both these supports. They've been picked that a few times. White going again for an early game fast pushing jungler, and actually Jihan's hovering the Lee Sin instead of the Elise.
Lee Sin would be an interesting pick here. And he does lock in the Lee Sin for that really early pressure.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Elise is actually stronger than Lee Sin in duels because you can just use your cocoon and stun him mid-jump.
Right.
So we'll see if they decide to counter that with the Elise. Speedy.
And we see a Brand Hover probably going to go for Mechlamax, but no. They switch. No, Mechlamax still going for that Brand.
Yeah.
Brand is kind of similar to Lux.
He's similar. I mean, he has a lot of AoE damage. Very
Yeah.
strong team fighter. He has played that in the group stage, so he is pretty familiar with this champion. Also with Misfortune, looks like they're going back toward that really strong team fighting style. But
And
we'll
I
see
think,
which jungler comes
I
out.
think there's going to be a Rumble pick coming out from Gank by Mom. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Looking at their team right now, Rumble would make a lot of sense here.
Yeah, that fits in perfectly. You even get the double fire synergy between him and Brand.
I don't
that
know.
would be pretty awesome.
Rumble's only like half fire though. He's not all fire.
Well, I mean, what other kind of attribute or element could you attribute him with?
Steel type.
This isn't Pokemon. But anyways, Horo-chan hovering the Blitzcrank.
He has played the Blitzcrank before.
Yeah, their support is really impressive just in terms of pick diversity. Him and White have picked a huge pool of champions. They can pretty much play anything they want to, but I will point out, Horo-chan usually picks very aggressive supports. He has played Janna once or twice, I
But
believe.
usually it's the Leona, the Blitzcrank, very aggressive
Yeah.
types. And we see him even taking that Ignite Summoner spell, not even going for the exhaust.
Z Winston also going for the Anivia instead of the Xerath. That'll give him a little more zone control than a Xerath would. A little bit more teamfight presence in terms of just the amount of AoE damage and stuff.
And we
he
see
comes
the
out.
Teemo Urgot hover.
If that's a Teemo,
that Teemo comes
I
through.
would, I'll wear that Teemo hat that's sitting on the
Okay,
deck.
sounds good.
But
And Gank by Mom hovering over that Vel'Koz.
yeah,
Vel'Koz
And-
has not seen too much gameplay recently.
I don't think either of these teams have picked Vel'Koz so far in the tournament.
No.
We talked about how Elise is open, but Hanguk, of course, going for the Devour junglers usually, so
that might even be a Devourer's Tom Kench.
Devour Tom Kench. Interesting. So going to Mundo
and
Ezreal. That would be very... I have not seen Gank by Mom play Mundo so far. Hanguk Jr., is he going to go for the Devour
This
Tom
is the
Kench?
Devourer's Tom Kench. This is the Devourer's Tom Kench.
He is uninhibited. This guy riveting all across the battlefield.
Yeah.
This is going to be pretty exciting.
Unbench the Kench.
Yeah, and they can also throw Ezreal in the mid lane. That gives him a lot of that long range. So is that going to be the Brand support then?
Might be the Brand support.
Brand is actually a really popular support right now. When you get the mastery to deal dot burning damage, you can just bully your lane so much, and especially if they're able to play safely against Blitzcrank. When Blitzcrank misses his hook or is unable to hook properly, then he's kind of a useless support.
He is. He can run up to you and bop you, but that just gives Brand a free stun if Blitzcrank just runs up.
Yeah, pretty much. So, looks like SNSD hovering the last champion for them. I wonder which top lane they're going to go for.
Trundle top lane.
I don't know if he has played Trundle so far yet. I don't believe so.
No,
Usually he
has
plays
not.
strong skirmishers. Trundle
is a pretty strong
pretty
skirmisher. Especially against Mundo, Trundle is known as the tank killer.
Indeed. So, once the game actually starts loading, we can take off the spoiler banners and talk about some of the...
That is Hanguk on the Ezreal jungle.
We're not really sure yet. We don't know the summoner spells quite yet. Once they lock in,
true.
they can still hover around,
They
swap
can
some
troll
of their
around with the
picks.
swaps,
But once the game gets into load, we'll see what they really want to do. And obviously we talked about how strong of a team fighting composition blue team has, but going into the late game, we talk about their scaling with the Tahm Kench and Mundo. It's going to be so hard for Team 12 to actually break through that.
It's going to be pretty hard. I agree. That Mundo will be really tanky. And Tahm Kench will get really tanky with his E passive. And the gray health always being a nuisance. And Tahm Kench can just easily save either the Misfortune or the Brand from damage by just eating them.
Yeah, and so taking off the spoiler banners now, we can talk about this Ezreal with Smite. I've seen his Hunguk's match history. He has played this before. I didn't know if he was just kind of playing around or if he actually wanted to bring this into the tournament, but this is the best of 5, so you can try out anything you want, see if it works, and if it doesn't, you still have a bunch of games to fall back on.
So what jungler item does he go on Ezreal Smite? Does he go the Ringglaive?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen it on this patch.
Okay.
Because obviously the Ringglaive used to be really popular on Ezreal in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Kappa Claws. Is that actually a real emo? I'm not sure.
I don't think it is.
But anyways, I also want to talk about how SNSD Selena Kim does not have teleport. So they might be trying to go for more early pressure in the top lane again.
When you see the Lee Sin, you see the Ignite in the top lane. This definitely looks like early pressure to me.
Yeah. It'll be difficult for Z Winston to split push in the late game against a Mundo. But as a Nivea, you can really just set your turret wave clear and then teleport in if you need to.
So far, it looks like if the game goes long, blue team will definitely have the advantage here.
Yeah, they Purple team really wants
to
try to force that pressure, try to get the top side, snowball a little. We haven't really seen a lot of play around the Rift Herald, but I'm kind of interested to see if SNSD Selena Kim can take that buff and actually go with it and make use of it, because
the Baron minions early do make a difference.
Yeah, help you push so much, especially with Mundo. Doesn't have the best wave clear early on.
He does not.
Once he builds a Sunfire's Cape and gets some point, or gets a little tankier with his W, that'll work out a little bit better. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see if they're able to do that.
We might see some pressure down the bot lane from Lee Sin also. Try to get White going early, because we know White is very proficient at carrying with those auto carries.
Yeah, I do really like the Tahm Kench support pick paired with Misfortune specifically, because obviously Misfortune, very immobile carry, and if she gets caught out by something like a Lee Sin or even a Blitzcrank, Tahm Kench can walk up, eat her, flash away, or do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, though, however, they did have a slight nerf to Tahm Kench very recently, and I hope Speedy Turtle's aware of it, but if you when you're devouring your own teammate to save them and you're walking away from the enemy team, you don't get the bonus movement speed anymore.
Okay.
So it's not quite as good at peeling.
Doesn't let you save as fast, but you can still prevent them from taking damage.
That being said, if Psycho Barrier gets caught out and Tahm Kench devours, that's a 2-for-1 hook.
That is true.
So that'll be pretty.
We also see Speedy Turtle taking the heal on Tahm Kench instead of MF, which tells me that Speedy Turtle probably has that one Keystone Mastery where heals do 30% more.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that plays into effect.
Yeah, and especially because the change to the Grievous Wounds for the preseason, it only reduces self-healing. When your support takes the heal, obviously you lose the burst of movement speed you get. But that allows you to get full benefit from the heal, even if you get Ignite on. And Blitzcrank is running that Ignite, so it's going to be very important.
And we are now loading into the game. Very excited.
This is going to be pretty exciting so far. Let's see what skins they have so far.
The Ace of Spades Ezreal with the really cool splash art.
I don't think I've even seen this in game yet. And Mundo.
Gotta play Mundo.
Yeah, that's so great. A little disappointed we don't see Definitely Not Blitzcrank, but
we got the Boom Boom.
Boom Boom. I would have liked
SKT T1 Lee Sin.
I would have liked to see the boxing Lee Sin paired with Boom Boom Blitzcrank just for extra synergy.
For synergy, there we go.
Yeah, but it looks like
we are in
the game now for the grand finals for the Capital One Circuit of 2015. Starting on the blue side is Team Gr8b8m8. In the top lane, they do have Ganked by Mom. In the jungle, you have Hanguk Jr. on the Ezreal. Mid lane, Mechlamax. AD carries Psycho Bear, and support is Speedy Turtle. Do you want to read the red side?
And on the red side, we have in the top lane, SNSD Selena Kim on Trundle. In the jungle, G-Hens 50 on Lee Sin. In the mid lane, Z Winston, Anivia. And then we have AD Carry, White on the Lucian, and Horo-chan as a support on Blitzcrank. And both teams are now moving out into their... Both teams are moving towards the bot side jungle, actually. And we'll see if we see any level 1 invades coming out.
Yeah, they're completely together on the red side. So
Red team does have the Blitzcrank, so invade would really make sense. And it looks like they're going for it.
Oh man, they're actually going for it, trying to get the sneaky...
They went through lane and they got seen by Tom Kench, so now blue team knows what's up.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to give it away completely. You do have Horo-chan on the Blitzcrank, so it looks like they're maybe trying to get something going there with that bottom side Tribush, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Their Gr8b8m8's completely safe, and they have some wards in the river.
Really,
so.
I think red team should have gone into jungle, because when they go through lane, it's really risky because you can get spot out so easily.
Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. And Mundo starts with the Doran Shield, giving him a little bit extra health. Mundo especially scales well with health, of course, because his abilities heal percentage of his maximum health. And Trundle going for that Doran's Blade start with the Ignite. I'm excited to see if SNSD Selena Kim wants to bring the pain.
I think he definitely wants to. That Ignite's telling stories here. From Summoner spell choices, tell 1,000 words.
Yeah, and both junglers going to start on the bottom side here. Speedy Turtle actually takes a lot of the damage from Hanguk Jr., so...
Hanguk Jr. is going to leave that camp really healthy.
Yeah, he's going to be able to...
He's almost full health right now.
Oh, man, and
we
if
see
Lee
Lee
Sin tries to
Sin.
duel him early.
No,
but-
he misses the Q
Oh,
on the blue
come on.
buff. Oh, no.
It's
That's
alright, it's
something he
alright.
can't do.
Get your land jitters out on the first Sonic Wave.
Oh, and the grab on the Speedy Turtle.
Yeah.
Blitzcrank actually taking more damage than he wanted to.
Unfortunately, Misfortune's new Love Tap passive giving so much harass.
That's something that Horo-chan can't afford to do in this lane. He can't bite off more than he can chew.
Yeah, especially you don't really want to hook the Tom Kench because then he can just stun you with his tongue and later on can devour you. But he does
and
get the hook onto Psycho Bear.
Psycho Bear, and Tom Kench did not start his so Lucian's gonna lay out the her on the MF.
Yeah.
And Horo-chan actually gets stunned out.
Unfortunately,
dangerously.
red team was not really level 2, so Psycho Bear and Speedy Turtle able to turn the damage back around. And even though Horo-chan's pretty hurt right now, as the support, he will have the biscuits to fall back on. And of course, starting with Targon's gonna be pretty healthy. Z Winston feeling that burn though.
Fire always beats ice.
Does it? This is a preview for All Stars here. Team Fire versus Team Ice. We'll see who wins out. So far, Brand gets a little more harassed and CS.
We see in the bot side, Team 12 is shoving Gr8b8m8 under their own tower. Gets
Oh!
the hook on the MF again. Oh, and MF does get eaten by Tom Kench. Blitzcrank forced the flash away. Does not take the last tower shot. That was a visual bug there.
Yeah, now the exhaust actually comes out onto White.
And White
from
is
the
forced to flash away
Misfortune.
as well.
But looks like
Gr8b8m8
are they gonna be able to get
keeps
back?
chasing.
Another
Oh.
link will stun him. Speedy Turtle is not
And
able to get
Horo-chan
another
misses
one
the
off.
hook, and blue team now dangerously low on mana though. But White is almost
Oh my
dead.
god. They are so
Oh.
low here. Unfortunately, both
This
junglers
is
are on the
so
top
close.
side. Oh man. They could have tried to maybe flash Ignite there for the last kill, but playing it a little bit safer. They don't want to try to throw the game here. A lot of people notice that on the land setting, you play a little more passively just because you're afraid of throwing the game. It's such high
Right.
stakes.
But remember, this is a best of 5, so even if you throw the first game, it's okay because you still have 4 more games.
Indeed. Looks like Lee Sin is going to be on the top side here. We talked about him trying to get early kills off.
SNSD
Looks like he's going to go in here. SNSD Selena Kim uses the Ignite. Are they going to be able to finish it off? Lee Sin gets first blood.
Gets the Sonic Wave this time.
And now Hanguk Jr. is here, though. He has the red buff. Is he
he
going to be
has
able
the
to chase
Thunderlords.
it down?
Fury
He just
and
needs one more
One
arcane
more E,
shift.
come on, one more arcane
Misses
shift.
the arcane
Oh no, the red
shot.
buff. Is red buff gonna get it? Is he gonna arcane?
Oh,
There we go.
there it is. Mystic shot missed, but the arcane shift pulls it through. Ezreal starting 2-0
But what's
here.
interesting is if you look at Lee Sin, he did have a trinket up. He could have war jumped away. Makes me wonder why he did not do that.
Yeah, it could be that his W is on cooldown. I don't remember exactly if he used that on a minion to get in there or not, but
But even if he used the minion to get in there, it would be up by then. Assuming he's taking CDR runes.
you know, I'm not entirely sure what his runes are. Looks like in the mid lane though, Z Winston, Fire is beating Ice. look at that CS difference. Mechlamax
That
has almost
is-
twice as much.
His Mechlamax's CS is exactly the digit swap of Z Winston's, which is never something you want to see.
And Horochan posturing himself pretty aggressively, but doesn't go for the hook, just trying to scare them off. Looks like CS in the bottom lane is pretty even, and of course neither of them got for... Ooh.
Horochan had a few good hooks in the beginning, but now it looks like his hooks have calmed down a bit.
And I want to talk about how White went for that double Doran's Blade start a little bit, because they do have an early game team composition. Whoa!
And we see Ganked by Mom being ganked by Lee Sin once more.
Mom, is that you? Lee Sin goes
Oh,
in with the Resonating
and Mom
Strike!
wins!
There is the Mom. You asked for a war jump. There it was, just to pick up that final kill. 2-1 versus 2-0 so far. Ezreal actually went for the Tear of the Goddess early on, so he's going to try to stack that up.
And we see MF opting to go for the double longsword instead of a second Doran's Blade. So she's going for the early damage while Lucian just wants to sustain in this lane and farm up.
Yeah, now they're actually going pretty
And
aggressively.
Ezreal
Ezreal
ult
ultimate.
misses!
I think it might have clipped Horochan on the top side. But it looks like they are going to come down here. Nothing really going to come out of that. Tom Kench getting some nice tongues out there.
Now we see a gigantic wave built up in the top lane, hitting that tower.
How is Hanguk Jr. going to respond here? Oh,
Oh, he
great
gets
hook!
hooked by Blitzcrank, and Hongo Jr. gets eaten by Tom Kench.
Whoa,
Tom Kench
Psycho
with a
Bear!
save.
What is he doing
Oh,
there? I think he's
Psycho
going to go
Bear!
down. Yeah, White does pick up that return kill.
So one
Oh.
for one, but we see Lee Sin not wanting to give up, but now Lee Sin has to work.
Oh!
And he gets hit.
Man, Hanguk Jr.
Hongo Jr.
knows this Ezreal inside now, even though he got hooked under turret. That is the power of that Tom Kench first pick. Even though he didn't have the bonus movement speed, Psycho Bear kind of gave his life there to allow them to escape a little bit.
But Psycho Bear did pick up the Blitzcrank kill.
Yeah, so in the end, Looking comes out a little bit
2
favored.
for 1.
And Red Team really wants to try to get some more advantages out of this.
And we see the Ezreal ult coming out. Oh, and misses White by just a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunate there. And some one support already coming out for the blue team.
We see
Looks
Hanguk
like-
Jr. still sticking around the bottom side.
Yeah, he's focusing this bottom lane so much. I guess confident that Ganked by Mom is going to be safe in the top lane. Even though he's 0-2, he's down about 10 CS. What is that in terms of gold? That's a 500 gold lead for SNSD Selena Kim. So we'll see if Selena Kim is able to keep snowballing this.
Here we see in the mid lane, the brand is really doubling their Nivea and CS now.
Yeah, that might be the story of this game, actually, going forward. The 500
Brand
gold
is
lead going back
positioning
to Brand.
really aggressively, as you saw there.
Yeah, so even though the top lane is ahead, we actually see a gold lead for blue team early on in this game, which is not looking good for Team 12 so far. I don't know if they're going to be able to really react to the Ezreal going forward. But that being said, when you talk about team compositions, Gr8b8m8 doesn't really have great engage. So unless Gr8b8m8 is able to get to objectives first, it's going to be really difficult for them to try to face check, especially against things like Blitzcrank and Anivia, who can completely corner you off from your team if you try to get into objectives where you don't have control already.
Yes, and I just want to talk about the Nivea in the lane. You see how Z Winston is using all of his mana just to CS.
Yeah.
And he has built that tier, which will allow him to have a larger mana pool later in the game, which means he can keep that ult up for longer in the team fights, which could be the saving grace of this game.
Indeed, Brand actually rushed for the Sorcerer's Shoes. That's pretty interesting. I have not seen that build before, but it looks like it's working out. He's able to just punish Anivia and walk in, try to dodge some of those Qs coming out to avoid being
And we
stunned.
see early in the game, the players, all they have are their champions' natural magic resist. And when you take away 15 from that, big difference.
Yeah, Lucian, does, however, does have the BF sword in this lane and the double Doran's ring, so, or Doran's blade, sorry. So he is gonna be putting out more damage from his items.
And we see Lee
they can
Sin
get-
once again in the top side.
Yeah, he doesn't really do anything
He was
here, though.
waiting around in the lane bush for a while, but decides that the game's not going to happen.
Yeah, wasting a little bit of time. We can see Ezreal is actually almost 20 CS ahead now. So even though he started with the tier of the goddess, he still has a gold lead on Lee Sin. This is just looking better and better for Gr8b8m8 going
And we
forward.
see Ezreal now in the top side. The war just expired, so
Oh!
Game by Mom is going to go down, but will SNSD Selena Kim get out of this, or will Ezreal pick up the kill? And the point-blank ultimate.
Yeah, True Shot Barrage just picking up the rest of it. But Speedy Turtle does get the 3 stacks onto White. Is he going to try to devour him? No! Misfortune Ultimate comes out, and a stun onto White, but neither side, again, really comes out.
And we see Hanguk Jr. here in chat complaining about the lag. He is 4-0. I don't know why he's complaining.
Yeah, he still got the kill. Nice, safe, and sound, but a really good read by Hanguk Jr. knowing and communication with his top laner. They kind of had Selena Kim to go in onto him, and Ezreal is right there to pick up a return kill.
It is now 11 minutes into the game, and we haven't really seen any movements towards the Dragon or the Rift Herald.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Looks, oh my gosh.
That was a huge chunk of damage.
That pillar of
Z-Winston
flame.
using the ice wall to cut off his opponent's chase.
Yeah, going for the Rumble build in honor of Gank by Mom, not getting that champion for the Haunting Guy's Sorcerer Shoes. So much penetration early on.
Z-Winston finding a pink ward, picking up that 30 gold for himself.
Yeah, and Anivia going for that Rod of Ages, which is obviously very good now. They buffed it a little bit in the preseason, so his damage won't be quite as high as Mechlamax in the team fights.
Stunned by Mechlamax. Mechlamax could have picked up that kill if he went for it.
Yeah, if he really wanted to, he could have ulted
He
there,
had
but
his ultimate,
aware
yeah.
of the Anivia egg. I don't believe that was popped already. Yeah.
It was not. But remember, Brand does have the burns and the spell rotation.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're looking at Gr8b8m8's approach to this game, they're not really focusing dragons, so going for that Pyroclasm I think is worth it, because obviously your ultimate's a shorter cooldown than Anivia's 5-minute egg passive, but they're neither team is really focusing the dragon, so you don't really need that ultimate urgently.
And we see Selena Kim just really bashing that Mundo up there.
Yeah, we'll see if Horichan and G-Hands are going to be able to make a play in the mid lane. A lot of minions coming through. Anivia just going to clear them out. And here they come!
Rolling in.
Goon Squad. Premature hook from Horichan. But really good coordination by everyone. Mechlamax is getting completely turned around.
There we go. And Anivia's going to have the egg pop.
That is why you want the egg popped earlier on. Obviously, his Pyroclasm might not have been up yet then, but Hanguk Jr. not able to do anything. Great coordination from all the members of Team 12 to make that happen.
That was a great play by Lee Sin, landing that Q just on the tip.
Just the tip. Now Ezreal is going to be able to try to wave clear this. I kind of wish G-Hens went for the dragon here, because with the Blitzcrank, it's just, again, very dangerous for blue team to even try to contest that.
And we see the AD carries really dueling it out on the bot side.
Yeah, White does take that love shot bonus damage from the Misfortune Q. Horichan actually goes in with the speed. Is this going to be a double hook?
Oh!
Man, by the tip of their butt hairs, it missed. There goes the True Shot Barrage. Kind of whiffing, but it was a safe True Shot Barrage.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case, True Shot.
Indeed. And
we see Mom once again in the top lane.
Oh, is he going to be able to make this happen? Hanguk Jr. And meanwhile, on the bottom side, he goes forward instantly with the Arcane Shift. He does not have it now if he gets hooked under turret, though, so he's going to back off.
Looks like G-Hands is not going to go for that gank because he was spotted out by the ward in the river.
Yeah, it's so difficult to gank a Mundo now. He has his ultimate. He's building straight for that Sunfire Cape, and both Trundle and Lee Sin doing that physical damage without Trundle finishing his, well, actually, he's going for a Training Force instead of a Black Cleaver. So he's not going to be able to really penetrate through that for a long time, if ever.
Right. He needs to build some of that armor penetration, and we see the True Shot Barrage not even poking through the Blitzcrank Mana Shield.
Yeah, but Ezreal's built that Boots of Lucidity, and he's just spamming his ultimate every single time in this bottom side. Knows that White is the team captain for this, and if Gank by Mom can hold his own in the top lane, keeping the pressure on the bottom side with constant damage from that Ezreal ultimate means that it's really difficult for Team 12 to actually get an advantage down there.
And we see G Winston, instead of finishing his Rod of Ages, he finished the Distortion enchantment on his boots.
Yeah.
That's more teleports, but we actually haven't seen any teleport plays come out from him this game. So I'm guessing that Distortion just to help him get back in the lane faster.
Yeah, they did nerf the teleport onto friendly turret, so that Distortion will help that. Also, of course, reducing the flash cooldown. Anivia very position reliant, so that is super important for him to be able to flash around in the team fights. Now Mechlemax. Oh, actually
Hunguk taking the blue buff.
Wow, not sure if that was on purpose or not. Probably not, seeing as Ezreal has his own tier and Brand has no mana regen.
And Brand was actually there
now,
for the blue buff.
This is actually pretty big because Z Winston can out-clear Mechlemax so hard with an Anivia as blue buff. And with a strong bottom lane and jungler in terms of shoving and pushing
There's
the
another
lanes,
true shot barrage coming down.
they could shove out the bottom lane, then rotate mid and try to get some damage onto that turret. But Ezreal has been focusing the bottom lane a lot, so if Ezreal just keeps pressuring down there, it might be difficult for Team 12 to make plays going forward yet even more.
And we saw both supports in the mid lane for a very brief while.
Indeed, and on top side, Trundle does have a 30 CS lead against Mundo. It doesn't really matter yet because they haven't really transitioned that into other map-wide leads. It looks like Lee Sin's coming. The Dead Man's Play actually comes out instead of the Sunfire Cape, so Gank by Mom
he does land the
so
Q,
much harder to hit.
but looks like this time Mom does not win.
Man. Gank by Mom learned from his mistakes. Now actually they hook Speedy Turtle.
But
Speedy Turtle
Hunguk
cannot
Jr.
devour
once again in the bot lane.
Yeah, he is here again. A teleport coming out
Oh!
from Anivia. A little bit late there.
And
Hunguk trying to
Horo-Chang
focus
is
Horo
eaten
Chan.
by
Psycho Bear
Turtle.
backs up while Hunguk Jr. is going forward though. A bit of a miscommunication there. That's 2 kills, 3 kills. Anivia gets a double. Very good
That was
coordination
huge
from the
for
red
Team
side.
12.
Yeah, Hunguk Jr. with the play calls not quite completely clear because they completely split up there and they're just able to divide and conquer on the red side.
And now we see Anivia has actually caught up in CS with Brand. So with that double now, I think Anivia is actually ahead in gold.
Yeah, if you look, over 1,000 gold lead, which accounts for a third of the gold lead red team has so far. So Mechlemax started off pretty nice early, but Anivia using the teleport well. You were wondering when we were going to see things like that come out, and with the distortion boots, uses it very soon afterwards.
That was a very great teleport play. And the dragon is picked up by red team. Ezreal does try for the true shot steal, but misses it.
Doesn't quite get it. Gank by Mom, just smacking SNSD Selena Kyle. Or Selena Kim. I'm not sure if he's really able to win an all. Oh, man,
and
that
a
critical
double
hit!
crit!
Oh,
2 critical
wow.
hits onto Mundo means he is dead.
Man, that is the worst feeling by Gank by Mom. He thought he had it. He still had his ultimate.
How much critical chance does Trinity Force give you? Like 10?
They did buff the critical strike chance
20%,
on the
okay.
Zeal, so Trinity Force
Right.
does give a little more crit, that 20% chance.
But that was 2 critical hits in a
Oh
row.
my gosh. That is
Wait, Speedy
really
Turtle
unfortunate.
didn't take out the pink ward. He left it at 1 health. Look in Dragon Pit.
Oh man. Speedy Turtle, please. I know you're a very fast amphibian, both in name and champion, but you can't just leave that there. That's a free ward you can kill. And actually, it looks like blue team's gonna be the one to rotate mid. This is kind of difficult to push against an Anivia with blue buff, but we'll see if they get punished on any other side of the map. Lucian going back to that bottom side, so he's not gonna be able to get any turret damage of his own. We'll see if Trundle is able to try to get that turret. Mundo saving his teleport for any possible fights breaking out. But Ezreal is 4-1, trying to build toward that man immune. He's gonna do so much damage. He even started with that warrior enchantment, so he does more magic or armor penetration earlier on. And Misfortune and Lucian have both completed their Essence Reavers, but Lucian has a Zeal, and we already saw how effective this Zeal critical strike chance
Yes.
is. So.
And now we see Anivia finishing up the Rod of Ages. Now he's gonna start stacking that HP and the mana as well.
Yeah, and Brand was kind of far back, so not able to wave clear. White does get that final turret shot, and Hankook Jr. was just farming his jungle. I mean, he threw the true shot barrage, but if you're Ezreal, you need to respond to these map movements. Otherwise, Team 12 is just going to continue to get global gold, and they get punished there.
Right, your true shot is not the answer to everything.
That is a true statement. 50 CS lead for
Ooh, and the grab onto Mechlemax.
Very nice hook there from Horo-chan. That stun is so long. I feel bad just for Horo-chan there. I feel it, man. That brand stun is OP. Level 1 stun. Oh, man.
Looks like the stream was lagging a little bit just now. We're sorry for the connection problems we are having here.
Yeah, hopefully it is bearable. This is a pretty good game going forward. White and
another critical strike on the game. Another critical strike on the gank by Mom. Oh man, this Trinity Force is doing work.
Is Ezreal gonna be able to clean this up? Actually, Speedy Total
That's
comes from the other
3v1.
side. That was the Abyssal Voyage, I believe. Yes, he used that Tahm Kench ultimate so well. And actually, when we see Tahm Kench play, people always focus on the peel, but he actually has that great utility to get into the back line and uses it very well there. So great macro play from Hankook Jr. He did tell me that he pretty much calls all the plays and a lot of times even the builds and masters for his team. So he's kind of the mastermind in a high-esque fashion.
This time the blue buff does go onto Brand.
Indeed. Mechlemax is going to be able to match the wave clear a little bit easier. Anivia has finished that Rod of Ages now and going with that needlessly large rod toward an Archangel Staff, probably.
And we see Horo-chan and White now up in the top lane, going to try to get this top turret.
Yeah, good rotation by Lucian, just knowing that with the Lucian passive, obviously, you can kill turrets pretty quickly, and Psycho Bear's already on the bottom side, so this is going to be pretty difficult for them to match in terms of wave clear. Obviously,
now we see
dangerous.
20 minutes in, everyone gets home guards, so we just saw Mundo teleporting into the top lane with that home guards.
Indeed, we'll see how this actually changes things up. He did still use that teleport though, so if Red Team wants to make a fight happen around the map, they might be able to do so. Hankook Jr. uses the Archangel going in. The hook actually misses from Horo-chan. He might have wanted to hold on to that cooldown, but they're just going to focus gang by Mom now. Is it going to be enough? White trying to get the last hit. It's not enough. But Hankook Jr. goes down instead. A great job switching targets. The rapid fire cannon actually comes out from Lucian, so a great power spike fight for them. SNC Selena Kim uses the ultimate and the ignite. Very, very important that he took that summoner spell instead of teleport going forward, because that's 2 kills now that it has given him. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Anivia keeps safe.
But Z Vincent was forced to use the splash to get out of that alive.
Yeah, and he does have the distortion, but obviously going to be a little bit more dangerous for him. That is the last outer turret falling for their team. And unfortunately, they can't get the Rift Herald again. We wanted to see some Rift Herald play, but looks like that's not really going to happen.
But Baron plays are now possible.
Yeah. And
those are always exciting.
With the Tahm Kench going forward, he can actually contribute some decent damage to taking Baron. So maybe
6% max health on the auto attack.
Yeah, and a lot of times you see Tahm Kench go for things like Warmogs, like the Soraka, just because he scales so well with health.
And now we see Dragon about to come up in 30 seconds. Teams should be about to position around that soon.
Indeed, and even though, actually the kills are so well spread out for Team 12 here, pretty much everyone in their lane can pretty out-duel the other one, I believe, except for maybe Ezreal and Lee Sin, but that's kind of what you expect going against, playing Lee Sin and getting into the mid to later stages of the game.
Man, these crits coming out from Trundle.
That is,
I just need to take time to appreciate this Trinity Force crit chance.
Oh man. Looks
now
like
we see Team 12 moving towards that dragon, and Gr8b8m8 has no idea they're doing it. Do they? Is there a ward on Dragon?
They do know they're doing it.
Oh, there is a ward, but they decide to give it up.
Without a really good way to get in there, except maybe an Abyssal Void with Mougu.
Horo-chan misses the grab.
They're just going to try to take the mid turret instead. They can't do that, unfortunately, against Z Winston. And now Jihan does get the Q onto Jr. Tries to get the insect, but he goes on the back and back. The red team is splitting focus, actually, and here comes the Misfortune ultimate. Does hit White a lot, and now White might go down to the Brad. Yes, Anivia gets egged. They're turning this around near a shutdown. 3 kills for the blue team for 0. Oh man,
That Tom Kench ate the Ezreal mid-flight from the Lee Sin kick.
That was really unfortunate. Tom Kench did actually have a really good reaction time though with that Devour. And but they are going to continue to shove this in. Two-shot barrage goes out. He might have wanted to save that for the minions so they can continue pushing. But anyways, they don't really care. Ganked by Mom. He's like, all right, man, hook me. I am Mundo. I go where I please. That's another inner turret. The gold lead is completely caught up now. Oh, man.
And we see on the blue team, though, we still see Ezreal carrying all the kills of the game. Pretty much.
Indeed. That pink ward going to be cleared out now. They're going to try to secure some of that Baron vision. Iceborne Gauntlet for Ezreal. This is going to make it harder and harder for Selena Kim and Lee Sin to do their thing. But looks like red team is grouping. Are they going to try to rush this
starting
Baron?
the Baron.
Yes, they do have the Trundle who can obviously stack damage with his bite.
And we see Ezreal trying to get some poke out, waiting for his team to come, but misfortune is right now on the bot side. Really, blue team has to give up this Baron.
Yeah, I think they just kind of see this. They're just kind of sticking around and doing nothing, risking getting hooked by the Blitzcrank. So they probably should just backed off there and cleared their side lanes a little bit.
But now it looks like blue team's going to try to take some Barons away from the red team.
Yeah, Z Winston's actually stuck here. His flash is
no.
almost off cooldown, but not quite. Oh, man, this is really rough. He goes down. That's their primary wave clear on their team. That is going to be a little bit dangerous going forward.
But they do have the Baron minions to push for them now, so they do have that ambient wave clear.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because Gr8b8m8 on the blue side did not, well, they kind of just stuck around the Baron instead of clearing the side waves. That will give Team 12 time to kind of just shove down one lane and get some vision control on their flanks as they want to, because if they're able to clear the side waves, it'd be much more dangerous for a red team to do this. But they're just going to go in with the Baron minions. White wants that mid turret.
And looks like red team is now rotating towards the bot side and can get that inner bot turret. Or are they?
Yeah,
no, they're. Oh yeah, they are moving towards the bot side now. And the hook
oh
onto the
man!
Tom Kench.
Speedy Turtle has to burn his
Forced the
flash there.
away. Too bad you can't eat yourself as Tom Kench.
That would be a little bit dangerous, I think. Some Ouroboros-like. Nivea is back up. She has teleport, so don't worry if she's not really in the team fight or with the team just yet. She could actually go into the, well, keep the other waves cleared, but they're already pushing into the blue side. Actually, Mundo, when he was on that top side, kind of shoved that a little bit because he only pushed it not quite halfway, which means that the minions are going to come back and kind of bite them in the butt here.
And we see actually Z Winston moving his way to the top lane. With that teleport now up, he can push that wave really hard as Nivea. And when a team fight breaks out, just easily teleport down here and join the fight.
Yeah, and Gr8b8m8 has nobody to answer Nivea, so all Team 12 wants to do here is stay exactly here, about a screen away, keep the minions pressured in, and allow Nivea to push it. So they do burn the teleport from Mundo. And Mundo cannot interrupt Nivea, so now if Team 12 wants to start a fight with a Lee Sin insect or a hook, Nivea will be able to answer instantly.
That true shot barrage up once again. The cooldown on that is so short.
Yeah, and Z Winston not trying to push his luck in the split push game versus Mundo, because once you fall behind against Mundo, you are pretty much dead with his ability to chase. But they don't really force anything going on. Now Mundo's able to kind of roam down himself. They do get a little bit of damage on the turret. Hook misses from Horo-chan.
Oh, and Lee Sin seems to be lagging a bit.
Stands there, but able to safeguard out of there. He is poked down a little bit. Gonna be able to go back there. Hanguk Jr. going back as well. Looks like neither team's really gonna be able to do anything here. Is White gonna kind of stick around? Oh, actually, all of them went back at once and left the lane. So if Lucian were able to come in here with a bear buff, he'd be able to take the turret for free. But that doesn't really happen. I guess a little bit scared of the Abyssal Void from Tom Kench. But I think that's a risk you might want to take.
Yeah, that turret's so low. Like, maybe a few autos from Lucian would do the trick.
Especially because if you get ulted by Tom Kench, nobody was anywhere nearby. And props to Gr8b8m8 from clearing the vision in their own jungle, except for maybe here. But Lucian still has multiple paths to escape Tom Kench flank. So I think he could have gotten that turret, but we'll see if that comes back to bite them. And their Baron buff is now almost gone. Or, yeah, completely gone.
It is gone.
They're trying to go for this
trying to
dragon.
go for
They do
that
set up
dragon.
early vision control, and that is very important because we mentioned very difficult for blue team to actually get into this objective now. And Anivia still has teleport, going to be going back to that bottom side. This
Top
is
side.
all right. Yeah, that's what I meant. True shot barrage. Hits Horichan a little bit. White going to be getting that blue buff now, actually.
But we do see Hunger Jr. with that mana
Oh,
completed
nice.
and steals the blue buff.
A little good Mystic shot, but now they all went up to the blue buff, and that allows blue
Horichan
team to get into
hooks
this.
up
Anivia
Speedy
needs to
Turtle.
teleport in instantly. Speedy Turtle actually goes in. Here comes the power climb. He's going to be able to kill Bran. Now SNSD Selena Kim's going to be going in, but Anivia's flanking from the other side. White going to try to kill Gang by Mom, and now Mundo is just on to Lucian. There is no zone control from Anivia because she's completely by herself. White going to try to do what he can with the help of Ezreal, but Bran kills Anivia. Meanwhile, a 1-4-1. And
Now blue team's gonna pick up an easy dragon after that fight.
yeah,
After forcing red team off of that dragon.
a huge minion wave crashing into that inhibitor turret, but
Actually, that was a 1-for-2, not a 1-for-1.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're
Blitzcrank
right.
got killed early on by that pyroclasm.
Indeed. So looks like going forward, blue team is looking better and better. You mentioned how well they are, how good they are scaling, and now that the mana meter has turned into the mirror mana, that was so important for that fight because Ezreal does so much damage. Even if they're able to kill Misfortune, they do have that backup AD carry.
And we see the power of that AoE team fight we were talking about. That brand pyroclasm did so much work on the back line.
Yeah, and especially in that last team fight, Anivia came in with a flank, which is decent, but when Anivia is the one flanking, then your AD carry is kind of by himself because you have very aggressive non-peeling jungler and support. Lee Sin can peel decently, but without Anivia to peel for Lucian, he was forced to 1v1, or actually 2v1 Mundo, and that allowed the rest of blue team to just pretty much clean up everyone else.
Right.
The
And we
Anivia...
saw Anivia not really doing much either after he flanked. He didn't. Did he
Yeah.
get a kill? He did not get a kill, I don't think.
I don't believe so because the entirety of Red Team was able to collapse. Unfortunately, Horichan hooks without
But
anyone
Hunger
on his
Jr.
team.
Arcane shifts over the wall. Easy Blitzcrank.
I mean, that's a nice idea, but you have to tell your team you're doing that so they can come and help you out.
Yeah.
Now they're going on this inhibitor turret. Trundle forced to come back here. Z Winston
Oh.
gets completely killed out there.
That pyroclasm bouncing in between three people.
Yeah, huge burst coming out, and they are going to get the inhibitor. This is looking pretty rough for Team 12. Gr8b8m8 looking very strong going forward, and Speedy Turtle, as that Tom Kench, that is actually just a champion that can scale so well going into the late game. Just because you have that health scaling, so he's going to offer more damage than the Blitzcrank, in addition to the superior damage coming out from Ezreal.
And now we see Baron coming up in 5 seconds. Both teams are now moving towards that general area.
Yeah, blue team is kind of grouping around this top lane outer turret, but they probably want to sit in the Baron pit instead. They're going to trade top lane positioning for perhaps a Baron vision control. Looks like Team 12 not really answering aggressively. They're just going to try to fall back and be able to wave clear at their tier 2 turret. But this is kind of dangerous, and Lucian's not with his team.
And Anivia just back too. They're gonna have to give up this inner tower as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're just kind of meandering around in the jungle instead of responding decisively to that rotation. So,
Ooh, grab barely misses.
I mean, that being said, it was on Ezreal, so he could always arcane shift
That's
away.
true,
But yeah, always nice to get a grab and force that
And
with
that
some
nice
damage out.
Anivia wave clear with the ultimate.
I do want to see going forward if Anivia doesn't flank by. I mean, Anivia flanking is okay if everyone's going in at the exact same time because
Yeah.
you can get huge AoE damage. But I think being in the back line would be a little bit better and allow him to use all of his enormous EP damage.
Tom Kench is now being caught out by red team.
Yeah,
And
I don't know if they're
is
gonna
red team gonna
continue
commit to the
chasing this.
chase?
They're a little bit scared because Ezreal and friends are coming.
Yeah.
Horochan doesn't
Horochan
quite
misses
land
the
that
hook
rocket
again.
grab.
Lee Sin is now split off from his team though.
Yeah, a huge bottom lane wave actually crashing into that turret, so they're going to get some free damage on there. All they need to do is kind of sit around
And last
here
time
and-
we saw the tier 2 tower for bottom lane though, it was pretty low too. Do
Yeah,
you
so
think
that
this
might
wave's
actually
gonna
fall.
get it?
But Mundo's actually going
Oh.
in here with the hook, I think. But now Mundo's into the entire team. The wall comes out, but it doesn't block on Mundo, so he's still in the middle of the team. Hanguk Jr. kills SNSD Selena Kim. Now G-Hens is getting engaged on Blitzcrank. Is completely useless for the rest of this fight. He does try to peel Israel back, but Israel chasing him anyways. Tom Kench comes in with his ultimate for a flank, but doesn't really work out.
And we see Pro-Chan dueling Hanguk Jr. Hanguk Jr. is
Oh!
Oh, almost gets killed by the red buff as well.
Psycho Man, respect the 1v1. That's a double kill. Takes the game from the from his friend, but that will be the first game going to blue side. Unfortunately, it looks like there's a little bit of complaint lag, but that is the first game going forward.
Alright, we'll see if we can do anything about the lag
But yeah,
before the next game,
I
but
think I try to go for this kill. Hanguk Jr.
White does go down,
Wants-
but not Mundo goes down before the game ends.
trading one forward. That first game going forward to Hanguk Jr. Really nice jungle reads in the early game because
Right.
Hanguk Jr. is able to get a lot of gold leads out
That
of
focus on the bot lane seemed to work out. But in this break between the games, let's see if we can fix some of this lag, and we'll see you guys after the break.
Indeed.
I gotta fix the lag.
Hello. Coming back.
We are back,
Indeed.
and I am Paul Mougu,
I am Reza Sprintspeed Mahmood once again.
and we are joined by a very special Richard C9 High as Balls Lin.
Indeed. And I need to get into the lobby first of all to cast this game. But that was a pretty solid first game,
Yeah,
I think.
Team 12 should be just about done getting relocated now. We've relocated them upstairs, so now both teams should be on separate routers, which hopefully will clear up the lag a bit.
Indeed. So yeah, there were a couple instances where I think lag might have had a bad effect, but overall I think strategically Hanguk Jr. responded to the enemy jungler map movements very well.
Yeah.
And I don't think Team 12 really took the necessary risks to like really shove forward their advantage or the small advantages they got. So I don't think it was really like the deciding factor in the game by
And
any
as we
means.
saw, like close to the last team fight, we saw Blitzcrank really initiating for Gr8b8m8. Like we were talking about how they had no initiate, but Blitzcrank grabbed that Mundo, and
Yeah.
he just pretty much initiated for
Like,
that team.
oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
So maybe, with Blitzcrank, it's so difficult because
Yeah.
who do you hook? I mean, you hook the Ezreal, he can arcane shift out.
Yeah.
You can hook Mundo. You can maybe hook Brand or Misfortune, but then there's still the Tom Kench you have to deal with. It's rough all around.
Yeah. What red team really had to do is just win early. Like I said, blue team scales way harder than red team, especially with the Ezreal with the mana immune.
Yeah.
You have to push your early advantage as Lee Sin. We saw Lee Sin trying to do so much work in that top lane, but he should have focused bot lane a lot more. Get those early dragons. Get that 10% damage on the dragon, or is it 5%?
The
first dragon.
Get the 5% damage increase.
Yeah, get that early because we saw the first dragon going down at like what 15 minutes.
Yeah,
That's a bit late.
Yeah,
in my
usually
opinion.
if you're really trying to rush for that 5 dragons,
Yeah.
15 to 16 minutes is usually when you want to get your second one.
Yeah.
But they were trying to focus top lane really hard, and they got some kills, but
Right.
then at some point they just couldn't kill Mundo anymore. Once you got the dead man's plate, and not even then, they had a lot of trouble going forward with just with the Giants build and the Chain Vest.
Yeah.
So-
But we actually saw Trundle doing pretty well against Mundo early with the
Yeah.
Trinity Force crits. I'm always
Oh,
a
man.
favorite of.
Just giving me nightmares about Tryndamere.
And especially with that ignite onto Mundo, Mundo's worst
Too
nightmare.
Scary. Indeed. I think they might be because one of the teams relocated upstairs. They might have. I think they're just testing out to make sure that
Right.
everything is good to go.
I would go up and check on them, but last time I went out, I got locked out and had to wait for Carrie and for Carrie to come by.
Just sitting there. No, please let me in.
Yeah.
Locking the gates. And I am really impressed with Team 12 because throughout the playoffs, they've been pretty much playing very similar champions with the Lux and the Rumble and then Devour Jungler. But this strategy was, it was still late game scaling, but
Right.
there were different picks.
Yeah.
And not a Devour Jungler.
And
So I
no
think,
engage. So it was really poke heavy with the Brand and the Ezreal.
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult going forward for Team 12 to how do you respond to that? Because you know that there's their tried and tested and proven strategy that they haven't even brought out yet.
Right.
Okay, looks like people are on a bit of a bathroom break real quick.
Maybe, yeah. But we also see like GBM not even breaking out his signature Rumble.
Yeah, Mechlamax did have that Lux band, but that Brand got such an advantage.
That Brand just bullied Anivia the whole laning phase.
Indeed.
But then again, we saw on Team 12 side, they didn't have any of their signature champions either. Like,
Yeah.
we did not see the Xerath. We didn't see the Elise.
That's true. The Elite.
Yeah.
I'm kind of disappointed. I was ready for the Elise. He's played it 5 times.
Yeah.
5 times.
You would think he would pick it for the grand finals. Maybe they're saving it for, like, the later strategies.
I mean, I guess that's possible.
Better to get the momentum early, you know?
I think what it was is that because their engage wasn't the best. They wanted to use the Lee Sin as to be able to insec
Right.
and start fights that way, which I can understand is something you want to do, but it's so difficult to pull off. We saw him try to do that one fight. It didn't work out. Whether it was really lag or the Tom Kench Devour, it's hard to say.
But the
but
Tom Kench
either
Devour
way-
was on point. He ate
Yeah.
the Ezreal mid-flight.
Yeah, that was really nice. But
But you say that they need the engagement Lee Sin, but even if they pick Elise instead of Lee Sin, they had the Blitzcrank. So if Elise can land a Cocoon on a priority target, that's a free hook for
that's true.
Blitzcrank.
Very
Yeah.
true. Also, we haven't seen their support Horchan play a Morgana, but for instance, Cloud9 always used to love the Morgana
Right.
Elise combo in Season 3. I think that, that could work because they have a very AD carry centric team composition, so you could just put a black shield on.
Right.
If Horchan feels comfortable, he's played so many supports that I guess it's a little. It might be difficult to have like 8 support champions in his pool, but right now, but this tournament so far, I think he's played like 5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, separate ones. So
But most of them are just super aggro supports.
yeah,
The Braum, the Leona, the Blitzcrank, the Thresh. It's
possible
all
that-
super aggro playmakers.
yeah, he did play one game on Janna, and I also want to point out that one game. But yeah, so Team 12 has shown a little bit of ability to use some different kind of strategy, but
But Z Winston still preferring the mage type mid laners. Not really straying too far from his comfort zone with that Nivea pick.
yeah, he has played that before in the tournament. And also going forward, if Team 12 wants to play more of a safer later scaling composition, they
Right.
did actually try to do one game where they played like Lulu and Vayne, but that was actually the only game they've lost so far this tournament. So I don't know if they feel confident going for a very hyper scaling AD carry, but they need to be able. They actually got all the outer turrets down
Yeah.
in the early game, so they started off pretty decently. I think they want to ban the Ezreal just because that's kind of difficult to play around.
I don't think the Ezreal should be a priority ban.
Oh, okay.
Because once you know what's going on, you can play around that Ezreal. Ezreal takes a bit of effort to land all of his abilities because obviously they're all skill shots, so they're all dodgeable. And the Ezreal jungle early, it's not as strong as we saw in that previous game. Like, Team 12 had a great early game. Like,
Yeah.
even though they got behind in the beginning, they caught up really fast, really easily.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see if they go for that or not.
Yep.
I think it's a bit difficult. They might want to just get some more engage heavy champions. I do know that we do remember that the Hecarim was banned the first game, so that is one champion that they wouldn't have to engage. But yeah, it was really later on when Ezra was getting that Iceborne Gauntlet, and with like the Tom Kench and everything, they were able to kite fairly well.
Right.
So
But I think Ezreal is still a very team-centric champion.
yeah. Okie dokie.
Did you update the scoreboard?
I did indeed.
All right.
All right, looks like we are ready to get into the second game.
And I just noticed that Gr8b8m8's acronym is GBM, just like the top laner.
Indeed, this is not the mid laner from Jin Air Green Wings, but
This is John GBM Park,
this is the original
the
GBM,
original GBM.
the one and only NAGBM. Ezreal ban coming out.
Oh man, the Ezreal really did get banned.
Yeah, I can hear them in the other room, kind of chuckling.
Yeah.
But actually, a Rengar ban coming out as well.
And the Hecarim ban, same ban as
I
last time? Aurelia.
Don't. I think Hanguk has played a lot of Rengar in solo queue. I don't think he
Okay.
played it in the tournament, but yeah. And then the Malphite being banned again from GBM. GBM did play Malphite one game when he was mid lane. They were using one of their subs for a couple games, so they kind of swapped around some of their roles. But GBM does play Malphite, so banning that out, trying to prevent that really hard engage. And
But the
I
Rumble
think these are
is
the same
still up
bans.
for GBM. Are they the same bans? Did we record the bans from last game?
I believe. So, hold on, let me just put on the spoilers. Ha! There we go. Thank you, Freddy. Shout out to you, reminding me for the spoiler banners. But
Do you have a pen? Actually, let me go grab a pen real fast.
okay.
So I can record these bands.
Yeah, that is definitely a good idea. And actually, the Misfortune coming out for a first pick here, that's kind of dangerous. I mean, we saw the Misfortune really dominate in the later stages of the game with the team fights.
Right.
So trying to take that away from the Psycho Bear. And Psycho Bear hovering over Corky right now.
Corky.
Interesting.
Purple team spoiler is off.
Oh, I think I missed the click.
No, it's
wait.
on. It's on. Oh, the spoiler positioning is off.
Oh my gosh.
Move the positioning, Reza.
I got it. All right, do you want to continue talking about the picks?
Yeah, and we see the Corky, and Corky is really strong this patch with the payload empowered Valkyrie. Stronger than a Rumble ulti, I believe. And again, purple team playing the Tom Kench. Very favorite pick for them. And now we see blue team hovering over the Mundo brand.
Mundo brand. This is a... They're just taking
they're
the
taking purple team's team comp from last game.
This is really interesting. It's, I mean, it is a very strong team fighting team. We've seen Team 12 go for more split, or not split push, but tower taking early game instead of necessarily mid game team fighting. But it is still pretty focused around the mid game. You can use that as a, you can use a laptop as a thing to write on. But now, Tom Kench first picked again. I'm surprised that the Misfortune was actually the first
and
pick.
And that is a Zac cover.
It might be worth it. Psycho Bear did go for the Corky lock-in first, so they might have gotten that Misfortune yet again. Now, Corky obviously doesn't really do as much damage in the team fights, but he is very high AP. So, oh yeah, that's what I was just getting to. If they want to run high AD mids or junglers or tops, they can kind of get away with that because Corky does so much magic damage now.
And we actually see that's a Zac top laner for a purple team. I think that Nocturne's going to go jungle.
I think so. That would be very much
that would be
playing
a Hunger.
To the Devour
That's a Hunger jungle, yeah.
It's tried and tested for them. And also, they do have really strong engage with that Zac. So I really want to see a high engage support or jungler coming out from the blue team.
That is not a high engage support. That is quite the opposite.
They do. Gragas is up. I think he'd be pretty decent here, just to be able to use that explosive cask. But Z Winston did play Janna. That was the one defensive support he played, and they won that game.
Don't you mean
Horo-chan, because Horo-chan is their support. But yeah, Z Winston locking that in for him, and SNSD Selena Kim again trying to
that must
pick
be a
very
Mundo jungle then.
Yeah, I guess so.
So blue team this time is the one without the engage.
Renekton was played earlier on in the tournament by Team 12, so he is comfortable with that champion. He will see if he's able to get more in-lane kills. Last time it didn't really pan out because even though they got a gold lead, they didn't transition that as much as maybe they could have.
And we see the Lux coming out from Mechlamax.
Last pick in the game. I don't think this is really a surprise.
When it's not banned, it's picked for Mechlamax.
Yeah, they didn't even bother trying to first pick that. Yorick. I don't think that's going to be Yorick, but I guess you never know for sure.
You never know. GBM is quite the eccentric guy.
GBM. But yeah, I do much prefer the Lux to get more wave clear on your team, more team fight damage. You don't have a hyper carry. Well, you have Nocturne, but that could work with
and that
Yorick
is
ultimate,
the Lux.
But yeah, there's
and
a Lux.
We see a bunch of engage on the purple team. The Zac, the Nocturne, the Lux.
Once it hits late game, they're going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
Completely. But blue team, again, their team composition is very strong at fighting, but again, not the best engage. They do have much superior disengage than they did last time with with the Janna.
With the Janna,
and Mundo can continue throwing cleavers back, but it will be kind of, again, on Team 12's shoulders to get a lead earlier on against a Devour Nocturne if he's going for that. It's possible he could go for a Warrior if they feel really confident in their mid-game team fighting, but if you're against a Renekton and a Brand, if the Brand goes for another double magic penetration build, that'd be really strong team fighting. So I think Purple Team just wants to do what they do best, kind of sit back a little. And that having that Corky Pig will give them a little bit of a cushion to ride on going forward.
And I said this before, but that Corky payload is extremely strong.
Yeah, I mean, you get free home guards whenever you get it, and then
Yeah.
the damage, it's map wide.
And
screen wide.
It's screen wide, and I believe it does more damage than the Rumble ulti, but someone can check me on that.
That would be really scary. I don't know exactly the numbers on that.
I think someone just said it's about the same damage as a Rumble ulti.
Yes.
That is still very scary because it's not even an ultimate ability.
Yeah, so again, ganked by Mom, not on the Rumble, so they're bringing the Rumble to him, apparently.
Yeah. They like to have at least one Rumble on the team.
And if anyone's afraid of any Zuna double lift plays, when you use the payload from Corky, you do have the W cooldown refreshed, so you can use it to get out as well.
Right.
So don't be too afraid.
And you get the nice air raid sirens when you pick it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's so scary. I was playing with Corgi and I'm like, what is this? Am I being bombed or something? But turns out it was just Corgi all along.
And actually, Alawi is actually available for play, but no one's picked Alawi. I'm so surprised.
Yeah, I haven't seen her too much. I mean, I've seen her play decently, and she does a ton of damage.
Yeah,
but
her scalings are insane.
her utility isn't that great for the team fight, so they might be afraid of just getting out rotated or peeled against.
Right. But in the AOE team fight heavy team, Alawi really shines.
Yeah. Definitely. But again, Speedy Turtle going with that heal. On the Tahm Kench, has the heal movement speed burst, sticking true to his name again, while White and Horo-chan are going for the more traditional.
If he was a true
spread of
Speedy
summoner
Turtle,
spells.
he would be playing Rammus.
That is very true.
Yes.
I do want to see some Rammus coming out.
Rammus
Just
is
'cause-
one of my favorite champions.
It's
Yeah,
Rammus.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. That was actually the first champion I bought a skin for. I really liked Rammus when I was playing earlier on. Got Molten Rammus.
Ooh.
When he got a remodel, the Molten skin kind of, I think, dropped down a little bit. But
Oh, yeah.
he still has an okay place in my heart.
I'm also a very big fan of those Rammus wards. Use them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to point out that there is no Ignite on purple side. And they're playing against the Mundo Janna, so that could be really painful for them.
Be interesting.
They don't. Lux can build a Morellonomicon if she wants to. I think that might be necessary going forward because you need some sort of grievous wounds.
Right, and we see SNSD Selena Kim once again taking that Ignite on the top lane. He
Yeah.
really loves taking Ignite and going for those aggro plays.
And Ganked by Mom again playing a self-sustaining top laner on Zac. Last time it was Mundo. So kind of similar in style again, but
Now we're about to jump into the loading screen.
indeed. Getting into the second game. I hope we see some good skins coming out. Or what were some highlights last time? We had SKT1 Lisa. That was pretty decent. Lacked the boxing synergy, but
Also lack the SKT plays, but we'll talk about that later.
oh my gosh, that was mean.
And here we have the Eternum Nocturne. What a skin!
Let me just swap these around and update the scoreboard for in-game. Let's see. Oh, whoops, that was the wrong thing I changed. No matter. But alright, getting into game. I'll do that in a second. But on the blue side, trying to get vengeance. They're down 0-1 so far in the series for the Grand Finals of the Capital One Circuit is Team 12 in the top lane. They have SNSD Selena Kim on Renekton. Jungle lane, G-Hens 50. I don't know if Jungle's really a lane, but he's playing Mundo. Either way, he can go wherever he pleases. Mid lane, Z Winston on that Brand, trying to mirror what happened last time. Then 80 carry White, their captain, and Horo-chan on support.
And on the red side, trying to secure their second victory of the series. We have in the top lane, ganked by Mom on the Zac. And we have in the mid lane, we have in the jungle, we have Hunguk Jr. on Nocturne. And in the mid lane, we have Mechlamax on his signature champion, the Lux. And Psycho Bear on support with Corki and Speedy Turtle once again playing the Tahm Kench.
He is unbenched and might remain unbenched. He's been the first pick for both their games going forward.
And we see no invades coming out level 1. Both teams playing it really safe level 1, staying in their own jungles. Not even any offensive wards coming out. We see wards on the respective sides and in the river.
Yeah.
Both teams not really venturing to try to get info on the other team's jungle positions, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean they started bot side on both teams. Both teams started bot side last time,
Yeah.
and this game you don't really have the Blitzcranker really scary level 1, so they're just kind of happy to sit in their jungle and do it themselves. Hunguk Jr. actually comes out.
Hunguk Jr. is going for the invade.
Level 2 gank.
Or the level 2 gank. That's even better.
Or the invade. Yeah, it
No,
looks
he's
like it's going
going
to be
for the
that.
invade.
Oh,
And
gee,
we see
Hens
Mundo.
50.
Oh, he's going to find a
You
low
talked
Mundo
about not
and
putting any
a...
wards down. Here it comes.
Oh,
Oh, he
oh!
instantly engages on the Jihen 0. Is that going to be
And
first blood? Hanguk gets it for his team.
This is why you need the wards level 1. When you don't know what their jungler's doing, you're very vulnerable to these kind of ganks.
Indeed, and G-Hens 50 started so low there. You can do that safer start where you start the red buff and then you use the smite to regenerate the health and you get to the other side of your jungle more quickly.
Right.
But he wasn't really thinking about that.
He wasn't
so.
expecting it. But when you have a very high dueling potential jungler like Nocturne, and you're playing someone like Mundo, you have to expect these kind of level 2 invades to happen.
Yeah, and now Renekton goes for a deep ward himself just to spot out if Hanguk is on that top side. Or if he might be invading Mundo yet again. So, nice response, but I want to commend Hanguk especially because last game he was playing Ezreal, who's not the strongest early game. Ganked by Mom, taking a lot of harass though. They're actually going all in. Oh man, is he going to be able to get away? Yes.
And he does have his blobs up too, so it doesn't really matter. Even if he loses all his health.
Yeah, but again, Hanguk reads the enemy jungler very well. And oh! Flash engage from SNSD Selena Kim. That pops the Zac ultimate.
And the blob, only
Is
two
he
of them
gonna
are
be able
under
to get
tower range.
Oh no, that one's still alive. Is he gonna be
no,
able to get
he gets it.
Yes. Well played from SNSD Selena Kim. Getting back in that lane. He had the ignite, and it really paid off. Who are you spectating?
Her agent
Nathan.
asking, who are you spectating? Tell him to tune into your stream.
Anyways. Nathan might be trolling me there a little bit, but Hanguk going for his red buff now. But yeah, throughout the tournament, he's actually been very good at reading the entire time. He gets a lot of invades to steal camps, even when he can't duel the enemy jungler. So we were seeing that yet again. And that might, White as the team captain here, because he's 80 carry, that's a role that's much more difficult to shot call from, that we might be seeing a little bit of them. We might see Team 12 suffering a little bit, getting a little distracted because they're trading pretty decently.
And now we see SNSD Selena Kim getting ganked by Hunguk Jr. Gets a double dash, gets to safety.
Yeah, Renekton, so safe, such a good early game top laner, and even when you hit level 6, if they try to go for a dive or something, you still have the Dominus to give you bonus health and make it pretty much impossible to dive gank you. White, with that first big misfortune, actually really abusing it pretty well. You can see Psycho Bear and Speed Turtle both at half health, but meanwhile, here comes GN's 50. Is he going to be able to get another gank off? But no.
Nocturne's in that lane bush, shows himself, and really scares the team away.
Predicted the Mundo coming up as, well, actually, I guess he saw him on that ward.
Yeah, I saw him on the ward, but good positioning by him, staying up there, knowing that maybe Mundo is going to try for that
Completely
game.
scares that off. We'll see if Zac is able to continue to farm here. Oh, he tried to go for the blob, but that's really risky. Now Selena Kim is going to try to go in, but he gets the elastic
jumps to
slingshot out.
safety. Selena Kim is playing this lane very aggressively.
Yeah, and Hanguk just going to be able to absorb the CS so they don't lose money around the map. And meanwhile, SNSD trying to push his advantage. He has a 12 CS lead already with that kill. What do you think he's trying to build there with the double longsword?
I'm thinking it's gonna be a Tiamat.
Yeah, and Tiamat actually got nerfed as a build path because the while the Hydra still does passive cleaving, the Tiamat itself doesn't, and they nerfed the health regen. But obviously, still an item you want to get so that you can wave clear even more, and just gives you so much.
But Tiamat does not build out of 2 longswords, so I'm thinking this might be one of the black cleaver items.
Indeed, you can get the he builds
Lord
that into a vampiric scepter.
So this will be a Hydra.
Interesting. White trying to do a little bit of harass, gets tongued there, and now we see Z Winston against Mechlemax, pretty even in the mid lane. Mechlemax won the lane last time. Now he's on his favorite champion. We'll see if he knows the ins and outs of Brand enough to be able to punish his lane opponent. But Hunguk Jr. has a 10 CS lead against Dr. Mundo. Oh, he's actually going in for a gank. He flashes on the Z Winston. He doesn't even need the help of his team. He's just going in by himself. Gets a kill. Oh, that last turret hit doesn't quite land onto him.
A very good opportunistic play from Hunguk Jr. there.
Yeah, Z Winston was really and pretty low on health. So right when he hit level 6, instantly goes in. Brand was not expecting that power spike at all. Because if you look at their Mundo, he's like not even level 6 yet. But meanwhile, Gang by Mom getting engaged on yet again. The Ignite comes out from SNSD equals Selena Kim. But
he gets creep block away from that kill.
Oh man, creep block, please. That's a little unfortunate for him.
I actually have an interesting story to talk about creep block, where I got creep blocked by my own Devourer's wolf. And I was stuck against the wall because my wolf was blocking me from moving.
Oh my gosh, that why are you? That's just punishing you for building items. And now, actually, we see Nocturne has the 2-kill lead, goes for the Warrior instead of the Devourer. So, being pretty flexible in terms of his item build is going to try to snowball his advantage even more. That does mean that their late game damage won't be quite as high, though.
I think Nocturne still has a good amount of late game damage, even if he doesn't build Devourers.
Yeah, I would agree. It does mean
like
that
Warriors does give you what, 60, 80, I believe. Is it 60? Hover over that real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60, 80, and 10% of CDR. Those are all stats that Nocturne likes.
They rebuffed it because it was pretty weak for a little while.
Yeah.
But yeah, going forward, I think Nocturne is probably going to go into a Blade of the Ruin King just so they have something that can kill the Mundo.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going for the Devourer, you do want to pick up the damage somewhere else. But this kind of changes their game strategy from both these teams are more mid-game centric than necessarily just scaling to try to split push. Because neither top laners are really that good at split pushing. Nocturne, I mean, you have the ultimate, so you can try to split push if you want, but it is a little risky. And you usually want Nocturne to be engaging immediately with your Zac.
Right, because Nocturne is that one anti-carry who can get past the front lines, no problem, get into your back line and fear someone.
Yeah, and they do have the Janna to try to help peel against that. Tom Kench would have been really... Oh, here comes Psycho Bear. He has a payload.
And we see Corgi with the nice payload.
All right. He's just playing around. It actually runs out, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
You have to use that aggressively. Just jump in, rumble ult, and jump out. That wouldn't be dangerous at all.
It wouldn't, because you have the refresh Valkyrie to get out.
Oh my gosh. But no, they're just gonna be happy not to really overextend. Mundo not really known for being the biggest lockdown when coupled with Janna, but they're playing this pretty safely. I guess they're worried about the damage coming out from White, and with good reason. The ultimate comes out, but good Devour.
Once again, the Tom Kench devouring his AD carry to safety.
Yeah, and now Gang by Mom going in for this play, it's kind of telegraphing that your jungler is nearby, because there's no way Gang by Mom should probably win that 1v1, but his jungler G-Hens is trying to come and save it. Is he gonna be able to work? Yes!
Is he gonna get this
double
kill?
Oh my gosh! The masochism!
Oh, the double kill from Gank by Mom.
Yeah. Able to take down Nocturne, but double kill going over to Zac, so he might be able to hold his own against Renekton a little bit, but that Tiamat power spike coming in.
Once you finish that into the Hydra, you get that passive cleave, which will really help in shoving that lane out.
Building another longsword, actually. He might go into a black cleaver with that for a double damage build, which would obviously mean that your team fighting is a little bit weaker because you can get bursted more easily, but you'd be a little bit stronger at the split push game. And you still have a main tank with Mundo. So, a nice little pink ward there from Gr8b8m8. We'll see if that actually gets spot out or how much vision it grants them. I do like the double pink ward from this bottom side for blue.
That makes blue team really safe. And since the jungler is Mundo, Mundo just has to walk in the lane. And when you have all the entrances from the jungle into your lane warded like that, you really see Mundo coming from a mile away.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, that's pretty much going back to the engage. I mean, you can kind of see Mundo. It's really up to Renekton, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mundo is their jungler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, warding. Yeah, never mind. Forget what I just said, because the enemy jungler is a Nocturne.
You're just testing anyone to see if they're paying attention.
Nocturne can ult from
Ooh.
the Tribush, and ooh, we see a
Yes.
Rift Herald play coming
Rift Herald.
out. This is what you were so excited about, Reza.
Oh gosh, he's doing so much damage. They already nerfed him, but he is so strong. Z Winston gonna be a bro and take some of that hits for him. But they do give it to Renekton, so very high damage build, and now he has the split push buff from that.
Now we see Nocturne walking his way into the bot lane, or rather, I should
And
say
he has
floating.
Boots of Lucidity, so he really wants to make more ganks happen. If that tongue landed, I feel like he might have tried to go in there.
Right.
But
Nocturne now gonna walk into that bush.
Oh,
That
this
bush
is
is
warded.
warded. They now know Nocturne is there.
I just want to take a second and look at the vision for this Team 12 bot lane. They were focused so much last time by the Ezreal, by his true shot barrages and everything. So Gangplank actually trying to get a little bit of a cheeky engage there. Oh my gosh, he's out trading Renekton now that he has the chain vest, and the ignite actually comes out from SNSD Selena Kim. Oh, they're gonna be able to get the kills. He does have over 50 range, so he can't get the empowered abilities off, but very smart. Knows that the Nocturne is probably coming. Hanguk has been top lane several times, and they have the vision around bottom side to know that he's not making a play down there, so wisely backs off.
Also, Selena Kim lost that fight because he also took 2 tower shots when Zach was jumping on him.
Well, yeah, very.
He was
very
tanking
important.
the tower when Zach engaged.
It does have a 30 CS gold lead about, so he is still looking good, ahead by almost 1,000 gold. We'll see if he's able to do something. And now they know Hanguk Jr. is down on this bottom side, so Renekton does have a little bit more freedom to play more aggressively.
But I don't know why.
What the heck is this? All right, Speedy Turtle does try to go engage, but they're splitting targets here. White gets burst
Very
half down.
good ultimate from Janna,
Yeah.
pushing that Nocturne away.
And White, oh my gosh, look at that burst! But the heal comes out from Horo-chan. Very nicely timed. And now here comes Jihen50. Is he going to be able to make a play? No, he's just kind of walking back and forth, dancing in the bush. But doesn't really work out.
I don't understand why Team 12's bot lane positioned like that when they saw Nocturne there, because Nocturne has that long range ultimate to come in.
Yeah, and I think Nocturne should have gone onto the Janna there, because although White is obviously the juicier target, Tom Kench wasn't really in range to actually try to engage onto that. So if Nocturne was able to come in and kind of knock Janna around, you could get the Devour on that, and then kind of just focus all of your damage onto one target, be able to get that kill.
Right.
But with Nocturne in the bottom lane, Selena Kim going to try to shove this into the turret.
Now we see Selena Kim hiding in that bush, maybe waiting for Gank by Mom to push out and get a nice engage. But nope, Gank by Mom's not falling for that. But it looks like Selena Kim has already left the lane. Going towards that mid lane now. Gonna push that tower in.
Yep, and in the
take
mid
the
lane,
River
Mechlamax
Scuttle on the way.
again. Look at this 30 CS advantage he has. So this is really looking pretty good for Mechlamax here. Playing the brand, he was ahead, and playing against the brand, he's ahead. So we'll see if Brand is still able to do enough damage. He actually went for a needlessly large rod instead of the Sorcerer's Shoes that Mechlamax did, but we'll see if he gets hit by any bindings or if those boots would have been worth it.
And we see both mid laners walking into lane with the blue buff.
Yeah, Brand did get the blue buff this game, so he will be able to continue to wave clear.
Different jungler, you know?
Mechlamax is able to clear a little bit more safely, however. And now Ghen50 is actually going to be looking to go into the enemy jungler, but enemy jungle now, but all the camps are gone, so there's not really anything for him
Come on,
to
I
take.
just want this Corki to use that payload.
Come on, it's flashing! Use it, man! Psycho Bear! Psycho! No!
He's not gonna use it.
He won't. He won't. Yeah, looks like neither jungler are actually down here, so he is pretty safe to use it as harass if he wants to, but gonna be a little bit safer. The bottom side doesn't really have nearly as many wards, so they might be worried of perhaps some kind of dive happening, but Mundo's back at base.
And we see Nocturne once again shimmying his way into top lane.
Misfortune. White playing that duplicate build.
Oh man, White.
All he wants is raw damage, and Misfortune's abilities do scale very well with flat damage, but this is gonna be delaying his Essence Reaver by a lot, so we'll see
Who
if
needs
he's able
Essence Reaver when you can have 2 BF swords?
Very big and very friendly. Nocturne hanging right out on the backside now. Gankbomb's gonna engage here. Nocturne actually waits until the last second. So SNSD Selena Kim gonna try to get out of here. Is the fear gonna go off? No, I think he actually broke out of it, but they're able to chase it down with that red buff and finish boots onto Nocturne. So well played on the top side. That means that Hunguk Jr. is gonna get another kill. But meanwhile, the bottom lane from red team is getting aggressive too. You don't want to do that because you know your jungler can't help out. That means Ghen50 is gonna be able to do what he wants. The exhaust comes out, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough. White flashes forward. Oh man.
The cleaver kills from this Mundo are too strong right now.
This duplicate build, if he did not have that extra damage, he might not have gotten that kill
Definitely
off.
not.
So, props to White.
Yeah, that double up would not have done enough damage if he did not have those 2 BF swords.
Making his enemies see black and white there. After they see white as the last thing they see before they die. That means that because blue team was able to get kills on the bottom side, they're going to be able to do a dragon.
And this, once again, is a very late first dragon. 17 minutes.
Yeah, that being said, both teams are pretty mid-game centric. So this first dragon is going to help out a lot. Going to give everyone a little more bonus ability power and damage, obviously. And
Mechlamax landing that max range stunt and binding there.
Yeah. Gankbombom has been playing fairly well, I want to say, or he's been playing well with his jungler, because he's gotten a lot more help, but he's been able to, at least this game, continue to trade pretty safely, and even though he's down 50 CS, as Zac, I mean, as long as you have enough not to get instantly burst, that's pretty much all you need as Zac. You just want to jump in and bounce around everywhere, so...
You want to be able to
A-okay.
just get your damage off, even though it's not a lot of damage. As long as you don't die, and you can get your knockups off, you're doing your job as Zac.
Yeah. Now Hunguk Jr. spots out that they're doing the Rift Herald, but they're not able to really convert anything. SNSD Selena Kim does pick that up, so is he gonna be able to make the split push work now? He has a Phage, so he'll be able to walk around a little bit more easily. But after he had the Ravenous Hydra power spike, he wasn't really able to convert because of Hunguk's pressure. So I don't know if the Rift Herald is going to help out, but that does give him a little extra gold as well.
And he takes Pink Ward for a nice 30 gold and baroning up the minions. Going to try to get that tower, but once again we see Nocturne in that top side. Nocturne really wanting to help his buddy GBM out.
Yeah, and there are no wards around the river for red team, so they have to be very, very safe. I can actually hear them shouting about something, so in a few minutes we'll probably see some great plays going down.
Right. You can hear them through the wall.
But anyways, Gankbomb, I'm just going to continue to play safely here, and they're just trying to farm up for later stages of the game. And actually, Mechlamax does secure that blue buff. White transitioning into the mid lane. They might be catching out the rest of the enemy team a little bit off guard here because they're all kind of backing off from this turret. Well, Mechlamax gets there in time, though. Misfortune, not the best at tower pushing. We saw earlier on in the playoffs and throughout the group stages, White really liked the fast tower pushes, and so he might be applying the same strategies on Misfortune, who isn't the best, but she does get the love tap bonus for if she comes in every wave in autos, it's pretty decent.
And it looks like red team has just now calmed down.
Oh man, Max Range Alax's slingshot comes out. SNSD Selena can buy himself yet again. Is he gonna be able to kill Hunguk Jr.? Yes! There is one! Psycho Bear cleans up. Why is he in the top side? They might be losing middle turret. Mechlamax is gonna do what he can. He still has his ultimate. But here comes G-Hens. He goes where he pleases.
And we see Horo-chan sitting on that Lux range.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to get the Frost Queen's claim going forward. Fortunately,
Is
they
that
get wrong,
what
but
Red Team was all riled up about?
I hope
Them
not.
missing everything?
That would be kind of fun. Oh, G-Hens!
G-Hens.
Another blue steal from the brand!
The
Come
brand will
on.
never get a blue buff.
What is this? So mean. But, anyways, Psycho Bear! Ah, come on, man! Use it! Go forward!
Oh, is this what they're excited about?
Nah.
Is this the payload plays?
I think he's just going to use that to zoom around the map and go where he needs to be. Going to shove out that bottom side so they can try to rotate that into maybe a mid lane push. But Hunguk Jr. just going to be getting his red buff here going forward. Renekton almost has his Black Cleaver done, so once he finishes that, it'll be... Oh, Hunguk Jr. actually
Hunguk
going in
Jr.
onto Z Winston by himself yet again, but here comes G-Hens 50. Is he going to be able to get the kill? No, he gets caught under turret. Is he going to get out? Oh, no, man. Megalomax gets that kill with the ultimate. Unfortunately, the camera was spazzing out a little bit.
That was a nice
but
snipe from Mechlamax.
Very good max range ultimate from Megalomax. Going to be able to shove that mid wave. But without their mid laner, they're actually going for the Baron. This is really risky, but Corgi's on the bottom side. He still has his payload if he wants to get up here really fast, but I don't think he can even do that in time. Without Hunguk Jr., they can't steal. They can't do anything. Gang by Mom sitting around the side. Is he going to be able to steal it? Where are they? Oh, Megalomax!
Mechlamax with the E-steal on the Baron.
Unfortunate for Team 12. G-Hens 50.
Oh,
the smite's still
G-Hens.
off cooldown, man.
G-Hens, where's your smite? Come on.
Unfortunate, but
That wasn't even an ultimate. That was Lux's E.
Singularity.
Oh
jeez.
man.
This is gonna make it much more difficult for Team 12 to continue to play out the rest of this game, because now that Zach can apply some split push pressure, Renekton's gonna find a little more trouble to clear all those waves.
And now, oh man, Renekton got the Rift Herald twice.
Here comes Hunguk Jr. again! Oh, man!
But yeah, as I was saying, Renekton got that Rift Herald twice, getting those Baron minions. But now look, now it's skanked by Mom with the Baron minions.
Yeah, really
He's
good.
really doing work on that
Coordination between Hunguk and both of his solo laners. He's repeatedly gotten kills on the top side. Whenever he goes into the mid lane, if Mechlamax has his ult, he kind of throws it out there. And abusing the power of Nocturne's 1v1 potential.
The thing I love about Lux ult is that it does so much damage on such a low cooldown.
Indeed, Hunguk Jr. just using that spell shield, so he's pretty safe. And lack of engage from blue team here for Team 12 is kind of being an issue.
Horo-chan is dangerously low. Lucky for him,
Yeah.
Lux's ult is not quite up yet. No, it is now up. And he's standing still looking.
That, well.
Okay then. Speedy Turtle, a little bit trolling his teammate there.
That was kind of interesting, but now teleport coming in from Zach to save that top tier turret. They do get Dragon number 1, so 5 Dragons probably won't be happening on either side of this game. And now Gank by Mom is just gonna just wave clear.
He's out trading SNSD Selena
Yeah, he
Kim
took a
solely
lot of-
through his
Took
tankiness.
a lot of damage from the turret
Yeah.
because of the splash damage from the Ravenous Hydra. Did get the aggro, but going forward, Nocturne has that Yumu's Ghostblade, and he's been abusing these really strong mid-game items.
I'm wondering if you eat Lux in the middle of her ult. We saw the laser visually go off, but does it still do damage?
I think so. Well, recently on Reddit, there's actually been discussion about being able to cancel the Lux ultimate with an instant flash, where if you flash in a position that changes the direction of your character, it'll actually change the direction of your ult itself. So there's some highlight videos of like Lux is flashing backwards and then flashing to get a kill, but meanwhile, another gank on the top side. Selena Kid gets hurt so much by this full damage. Oh man,
we see Brand being taken down by a
poor Brand.
Oh man. But yeah, we see Selena Kim is really being punished by Hunguk Jr. this game.
Yeah, and they're gonna be able to abuse this bear buff. Another light binding lands again. Look at that damage from that final spark.
Yeah, that
coming out.
Mechlamax has the Ludens and another large rot build. That's a lot of damage.
Oh man, he does take a lot of damage from White, but Speedy Turtle gonna be able to devour him straight out of there.
This is why Tom Kench is such a great champion.
Gr8b8m8 is getting advantages across the board. Elastic Slingshot kind of goes in there just to clear some of the minions, but very, very strong, decisive plays from Hanguk Jr. to force all these trades, and then nice bindings from Mechlamax on his main champion.
Right. Very good light bindings.
Earlier on, also, we saw Renekton continuing to push against the Zac, while the rest of Red Team was kind of pushed up against this inner turret. But what they could have done is had Renekton come down through the jungle and try to flank them, because you really need to get a flank from Renekton to start off a team fight, and he was in a position to walk down and do that, but instead he tried to get the turret instead, and that allowed not only Zac to go up and defend the turret, but then they didn't really seize the advantage they could have gotten from that.
Right, and we see every time Renekton tries to split push that lane, we always see Hanguk Jr. up there, fighting with his Zac buddy.
Yeah, and especially Renekton build a very split push heavy build, so that might be why he wanted to stay up there. But he's been focused so much by Nocturne, he really should adapt his building path to kind of reflect the fact that he's not going to be able to get into a solo lane against the Zac.
He's not tanky enough. Like, look at how squishy he just looks. If you look at him, his health bar is about the same as like an 80 carry.
Psycho Bear! Psycho Bear!
Are we gonna see it? Is it finally gonna come?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Especially at this point of the game, you don't want to kind of use it frivolously, but he is gonna go up a little bit more aggressively in this lane, so maybe do that. Looks like Hanguk Jr. hanging around on the bot side isn't gonna be able to find somebody by themselves. Nope, they're just gonna clear the wards and prevent another flank. Again, Renekton not really looking for ways to engage. He's just kind of sitting there and trying to go forward. But that's not really how you can approach these team fights. Either blue team needs to set up vision and get to an objective early, or they need to get these side flanks. And they do have the Frost Queen's Claim
And we
Frost
see
Queen's Claim coming
Chan
out.
throwing out the spooky ghosts.
Yeah, and a good
And a good stun on a Speedy Turtle. Speedy Turtle uses the E shield, a huge shield to get out.
Oh
And a
my
great
gosh.
ulti coming out from Mechlamax, taking everyone low. And Hanguk Jr. ults in, but gets ulted out by Horo-chan. But it looks like Gank by Mom is going to keep chasing. A double kill for Corki. And Hanguk Jr. is going to go under tower, but Brand does get the kill on the Hanguk Jr. because Hanguk Jr. took a bit too much damage from that tower there.
Yeah, they all kind of lined up for the Lux Ultimate and the Corki, and the giant Corki equalizer with that AoE damage. And again, because Renekton wasn't really able to safely get to the backline, we saw him just completely blow up with 0 tank items.
Yeah. Like, as I was saying before, if you look at his health bar, it's about the same as an 80 carries.
Yeah, pretty much. And he does have that Dominus, but only 2,300
But
health.
he is building that no magic mantle for that, you know, very small amount of MR, but that is not enough for this Lux right now.
Yeah, Lux is just completely destroying.
And she
these
is
team
going to
fights.
build that second large rod into a Rabadon's.
The team is more magic damage heavy, so I do like the MR over armor, because also Corki's gonna be doing a lot of magic damage just because of his abilities. But Hanguk Jr. just does so much damage.
And Lux
He
has
has
now
a Ravenous
finished her Rabadon, so Lux will be doing so much more damage now.
Yeah, she's 2-0-4 right now. So
Oh, man,
look
that
at
is a dead
It's completely
Brand.
burst down. Hanguk Jr. actually ults in, but his target was already dead. Now Selena Kim uses the stun to get out. That's just another kill. Janna wasn't really there for enough disengage, so Janna wasn't able to disengage enough
Janna
because
did
their
knock up
Monsoon was
But
still
Janna
on
did
cooldown.
knock up Hanguk Jr. with her
Yeah, so
tornado,
that
so
did actually
that
prevent
actually
the
was a
fear
good
from triggering.
disengage.
But unfortunately, there's just so much burst from that light binding into the final spark. Hanguk Jr. finds Selena Kim yet again, and he's so weak right now. Psycho Bear dominating 6-1-1. They're going to be going for another bear, and this is going to be the second one of the game. Meanwhile, White doing what he can onto this inner turret.
Very
Right.
dangerous right now. Well, actually, no, that Baron's not going down that fast, so White's actually pretty good right now.
Yeah, they have a lot of their damage is dead, and Misfortune isn't anywhere near this, so this is actually really safe for the red team. And she's just...
And Misfortune doesn't even manage to get
instead of
that
getting
turret.
the turret, she just does wolves and backs off into Dragon.
She had no minions with her. She couldn't take that tower.
It is very dangerous to take this because you can't get flanked like that.
Yeah.
But they don't really have a team that's really built for killing Baron super quickly, so she might have been able to get away with it. But
and now red team is going to pick up their second dragon of the game. And Hanguk Jr. ults onto Z Winston, and Lux picks up the kill with her final spark.
Really good calls coming out. Mechlemax instantly ulting again, and Hanguk Jr. not afraid to pull the trigger, whereas White was a little bit afraid to pull the trigger with things like this turret.
Well, the problem was he did not have a minion wave with him, and MF, no matter how much damage he does, he can't out-damage a turret.
That is true. So that will be another Baron buff. Actually, 2 of them down on the bottom side. This is a little curious. I don't know why Mechlemax is down here, but he is down here nonetheless. Gonna try to get that inner turret.
It's the last inner turret left for them, so that's why they're down here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but you have a 3-2 split push, which is kind of strange because usually you want Lux with the rest of the team to put out massive AoE damage.
That Lucent Singularity doing tons of damage to the Mundo.
Yeah, being able to wave clear does help out. The rest of the team is coming now, so that will be good. They were in the mid lane. You really only need one person to shove out that mid lane, but they're all here nonetheless. Now they get the inner turret. They're moving on to the base.
Lux trying to go for that light binding. If Lux hits a binding, they're dead. Whoever Lux binds is dead.
And Misfortune was forced to rush an early QSS. She does have Infinity Edge and the Essence Reaver, so she'll be able to get a lot of those crits out, which do proc off her ultimate now. So that is a huge amount of teamfight damage, but it's so difficult if you're playing Misfortune against it. Oh my god.
Like I said, get binded by Lux, you are dead.
Z Winston is simply just getting caught out over and over, but what do? He was behind his turret, and now G Hens might even be going down, but a really good Misfortune ultimate hits several people on the enemy team, but they're just so far behind in gold at this point, about 7,000 deficit. Mechlemax, is he going to go down SSD Selenium again, trying to finish it off? No! Psycho Bear is godlike. He has the Baron buff still. They're going to be going on this inhibitor now.
Red team is dangerously low, backing out of the base, and Mundo's just trying to chase, but these cleavers just aren't landing.
Yeah, when you don't have... A lot of this was relying on the SSD Selena Kim, and when red team, Gr8b8m8, just backs off, there's not much you can do about it.
Right.
You have the lick to peel you back, you have the light binding to peel you back, and not even the light binding to peel you back. Light bindings are pretty much fatal every time.
They are. Unless they land on Mundo.
Yep, pretty much. But going forward, we'll see where they try to pressure next. Obviously, you have the minions on the bot, super minions on the bomb side, so you probably want to focus the top lane at this point. But,
and we just see Hanguk Jr. here just really controlling this game with his very decisive Nocturne ultimates.
Yeah, and Gangplank Mom has the engage trifecta. Well, I guess Spear Visage doesn't really help you engage, but it's Zac, so you always want that. But getting a Randuin's Omen and Dead Man's Play allows you to just pretty much run in, Elastic Slingshot, and slow everyone before you start bouncing around. So, very strong engage, and he is so tanky now. He can easily dive these turrets.
Yeah, and also, even if he does run out of health, he has to blow blobs that his team will definitely help to keep him alive.
Yeah. None of the primary Baron or Dragon objectives are coming up, so they want to use Brand for wave clear, but he doesn't want to be on the side. That's how he died last time to the Nocturne ultimate, because if anything, you want to kind of stay behind the turret just for a little bit of extra protection, but Brand is pretty much all their wave clear, well, all their ranged wave clear at any rate.
Nectin going aggro, I don't think he should be doing that. He's not tanky enough to be doing that.
Yeah, and especially going straight forward into the team, that's pretty much not going to work out, and that's why they keep losing fight after fight. I mean, I feel like a broken record here, but Team 12 just keep trying the same thing. He's actually trying to solo Hanguk Jr.
And he's actually doing a pretty good job of it, too.
Yeah, he does have to pop the ultimate, though, and that is huge. Because of his lack of tanky items, that ultimate is what he needs to be able to survive as long as possible. And now he's actually trying to flank. This is what they need. A good Misfortune ultimate comes in. The Gangplank Mom actually used a very short Elastic Slingshot because they just want to peel back. Hanguk Jr. goes and instantly kills White. That is 1 kill already. Is Cyber Bear going to be able to clean up like he did last time? A good light binding from Mechlemax.
Mechlemax gets stunned out by Z Winston, and that will be the death of Lux from that stun.
Man.
And now blue team will go back and try to clear their base, because right now super minions are hitting their Nexus towers.
Yeah, but that Z Winston needed to land that. That eaves is off so much pressure. They can clear the minions. They can even go out and clear some of the wards in the jungle, or put up vision around the Baron or the Dragon that are coming up within a couple minutes.
The problem with Z Winston in these fights is that he wants to land the stun on Psycho Bear. He wants to land the stun on Mechlemax, but just having ganked by Mom on Zac and Hanguk Jr. just right in front of him, he can't get into range to land his stun onto Psycho Bear and Mechlemax, which is the problem here. If he gets a good stun off, that is the death of any of those priority targets that he gets a stun off on.
Yeah, this game has been almost pretty much entirely just whether the mid laners can catch the other one out or if they get caught themselves. And unfortunately for Team 12, it's mostly been Z Winston getting caught out, but Mechlemax got a little bit
because
cocky
Z
there.
Winston, if he uses the stun to self-peel, that leaves Lux and Corki pretty much free to go in, because there's not really any more hard CC left after Z Winston uses his stun, other than Renekton's stun.
Yeah,
but that's also just a one-person target.
And blue team is here before their opposition, but Z Winston is at a bad flank, so if Nocturne were to ult right now, he might be able to get it. But actually going on the white, a 3-man knock-up from Zac. That's another 3-man ultimate from Lux. Ganked by Mom is bouncing everywhere. SNC Sling Kim is just trying to solo Hanguk Jr., but they still have the 80 carry to worry about, even if he wins that fight. And Speedy Turtle still can pop his gray ult to survive. That didn't actually work out, so he does go down. They're in a choke point, going to be able to do a lot of damage, but here come Mechlemax and Hanguk. They're going to be contributing more damage to the fight. A good shield from Mechlemax actually keeps him alive. And G-Hens is so tanky right now. They cannot kill him.
Now blobbed. Is his team going to come help him? Horo-chan and Z Winston so low. And Ganked by Mom's actually going to live.
Lux ultimate does not quite live. Ganked by Mom gets out just barely. They're just trying to stop the ports for Psycho Bear to be able to get that middle inhibitor, and it's working. He's killed the inner turret, or the inhibitor turret. He's killed the inhibitor. Now they're teleporting to the minions. They're just gonna try to end this one. There are 3 people alive. Ganked by Mom actually jumps all the way back because now they're afraid of G-Hens. We talked about Nocturne maybe building a Blade of the Ruin King so he can be able to solo him, but he did not. He got the Ravenous Hydra, and now G-Hens has almost gotten to the point of invincibility.
Psycho Bear will go down to G-Hens with those cleavers chasing. Hanguk Jr. Instead of trying to get the Nexus, he dives on Z Winston and just dies to the base tower.
Getting a little bit hyped there.
Hanguk Jr.
Baron is live. Blue team needs to get this right now, but especially because there's no more teleport or ultimate from either side on red team. So without the Devourer, we're gonna see if red team can actually close this out. They still have a 4,000 gold lead, but 4,000 gold at 40 minutes is much less significant, not as significant as it was earlier in the game, obviously.
But we do see that blue team does have their Nexus exposed right now. And if Nocturne can just get in there and auto-attack that a few times, they really need to defend this Nexus.
Yeah, they need to keep wards up around all their entrances, and they have one there. They don't have one here. They do get the Baron buff, which will help so much keeping their minions pushed out from their base.
Right. Lux gonna pick up her blue buff for that extra CDR.
And actually, Team 12 just gonna be seeding this dragon, and I have to agree with it. I mean, it is Dragon 3, so that is pretty helpful, but when your base is this exposed, you don't want to risk anyone diving behind you just to get a cheese win, because that is the worst. And the timer for 5 dragons is now at about 54 minutes, so not very threatening so far. But it looks like
Spooky Ghost coming out from Horo-chan. Maybe they're looking for an engage, but they just back off.
I've seen Horo-chan throughout the Frost Queen's Claim Ghost a couple times now, well, several times now, and I feel like he's just kind of using it when it's off cooldown, which is a little unfortunate. I might be missing it in the middle of team fights because there's so much action. But
he's just trying to get some vision right now when he uses it like that.
Okay, yeah, that is a good point. So
and the slow helps for engage if they really want to engage on that.
Yeah, and G-Hens has an elixir of iron. He is so large. He's not Mundo, but he has an axe, which I have to say probably hurts a lot. Oh, he's actually popped his ultimate. He's going to try to get speed and turtle. He does get hit with one cleaver. Where's the rest of the team?
And he does get light binded.
Nocturne is still on the top side, so if red team is able to kite this out, Gr8b8m8 might be able to get the top inhibitor. A good light binding lands, but
so many shields on Horo-chan.
Yeah, that is the power of the Janna and the locket. So,
but is
nice
Kim gonna get locked?
Pretty nice use of the twin ghosts there. Gonna try to lock them up, but they're just trying to kite again. And now and then versus Hanguk Jr. White actually wins the 1v1. That is huge. That means that they're able to. Okay, it wasn't. Wait, yeah, that was. He didn't get any assists, so.
Oh, yeah, that was just White and Hanguk Jr.
Yeah, White was actually channeling his ultimate as Hanguk Jr. went in, so he took a lot of damage for free. And now the rest of the team is trying to engage onto red side. They get a stun on the side.
This is just a 3v4.
Yeah,
or 2v4. Where's the rest of his team?
G-Hens does have grievous wounds on him, so he wants to back off a little bit to heal up. Where is the rest of the team? So far, Selena Kim goes in early before White gets there. That is really unfortunate. Are they going to be able to continue chasing? Speed Turtle uses his flash, and they get a double light binding off, but a monsoon comes out, and grievous wounds does. Oh my goodness gracious. That was kind of disgusting. Now they're also able to kill the Nexus minions.
If Mundo and Renekton just waited for the rest of their team to catch up, they could have had an easy ace there. Yeah,
SNSD Selena Kim getting it a little too eager there, and he paid for it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, speaking of eager, Hanguk Jr. suicide at the fountain and then suicides at the inhibitor turret. So maybe getting a little bit antsy to finish this off. He might be used to having a super hyper scaling late game. He has 0 tank items still.
And he did build that Lord Dominic's Regards to help with that Mundo.
Yeah, that does actually reduce a lot of the burst because it converts it into dot damage over a few seconds. So that will help a bunch for burst. But
that's the Death Stance. I'm talking about the Last Whisper item there.
Oh yeah.
The one that does extra damage to tanky people.
Yeah. Good good observation there.
But yes, the Death Stance will also help in reducing damage.
Indeed. I'm not entirely sure what the consensus is on this versus the one that applies grievous wounds on every physical damage. I mean, he's normally.
Well, we see Lux with the Morellonomicon, which gives her AoE grievous wounds.
It does mean that Gr8b8m8's in a bit of a bind if Lux gets caught out. We saw it in one mid lane team fight. Z Winston actually landed that really clutch stun. So if that happens again, Mundo's pretty much unkillable. But and now Renekton has the Sterak's Cage and has a couple other tanky items, so he's gonna be able to be more of a tank going forward. Even a Thornmail. This is an inner turret going for Team 12. Nocturne is trying to sneak around, but a really nice pink ward spots him out. And now, are they going to try to collapse onto him? I don't think they can really get over there.
Now, Red Team is
oh no, Z Winston! What are you doing? You have to be very careful here. Gank by Mom going to go in. He needs a flash out.
Oh, good Zonius by Z Winston.
Psycho Bear is going to try to deal with that. Meanwhile, Hanguk and Gank by Mom are by themselves.
This Lux ulti only hits Z Winston. Now, Gank by Mom is going to go down.
He has the passive.
He is blocked, but those blobs aren't going to do anything against the entire team of blue.
Yeah, that time, Mechlamax and Hanguk were not on the same exact page. Mechlamax only hit Brand with the ultimate, and Brand didn't even die. Now White actually almost gets a kill. The rest of Gr8b8m8 is scattering here.
And we see Mundo just chasing down Mechlamax. Mechlamax cannot run away from this.
A nice dodge onto one of the cleavers there. Is he going to be able to land the next one? He gets the light binding up.
Oh,
there's the Devourer.
But Psycho Bear, oh.
Okay.
Mundo doesn't care about Tomcat. He's just going to go for that Lux. Oh, no.
Is Mechlamax going to be the grievous ones with the blind? Woo! Meanwhile, they're getting the inhibitor in the mid lane. Is G-Head's going to go down?
No, G-Head's is alive. Now he is dead. Oh, what's going on?
Oh my goodness!
Now the Psycho Bear's gonna die!
Here comes White though, gets one Nexus turret. The timers on the respawns are almost up for Hanguk Jr., so they're gonna have to back off. He has Home Guards and the ultimate. Is Z Winston safe? Horo-chan gonna have to maybe try to peel this. Oh man.
Oh man, red team is now home guarding out of their base, trying to get a catch on someone.
What an effort from Neclomax and Speedy Turtle
Oh
guiding
man,
Mundo.
but I have to give G-Hens some credit. He lived for a while there under that turret. Oh man, G-Hens. This just shows you the power of Mundo. He really does go where he pleases, and he stays where he pleases too.
Yeah, Renekton is also at 6 items. So that entire deficit is completely gone. He is at level 18, I believe, yes. Only Horo-chan on there.
And now we
16.
see Twitch chat blowing up with NA game.
Alrighty. We are back live, swapping out Mougu for C9 highest balls. Thanks for joining me.
Little thing on your other side.
I'm gonna get a napkin.
All right. So now the teams are 1-1 in this best of 5 series.
So, C9 highest balls, I know you are always love to talk about item builds. What are your thoughts on last game's Nocturne full damage?
It worked for a while, but in the end... Okay, let's see. Which is that Lord Dominic's Regards or is that Mortal Reminder? It's Lord Dominic's Regards. Okay, the Giant Slayer. Considering that he pretty much never attempted to team fight or ever focus a tank or survive long enough to focus a tank, it's probably more worth it to get the Mortal Reminder. That way you can completely cut off the heals and lifesteal from Misfortune, as well as the heals from Janna. I guess Mundo and Renekton also heal a lot as well. Personally, I'm much more of a fan of Mortal Reminder than Lord Dominic's Regards. I don't find the bonus percentage damage to be that helpful. And if you really need it, Blade of the Ruined King is always a better option. Also, I think late game, it's worth it to switch your Lucidity boots out for something like Ninja Tabai if you plan on constantly 1v1ing Misfortune, or the Mercurial, the Merc Treads, simply because the other team has CC and slows on pretty much every single character.
Yep.
Zach's build was questionable. I don't quite understand the Dead Man's Plate. I think it definitely should have been a Sunfire Cape as his first item.
Just get that extra wave clear.
Yeah, the extra wave clear would help him not get pushed as far down constantly, and considering that
I think because Zach a lot of times you get Dead Man's Plate so you can engage more easily, but if you're playing Zach, you use your Elastic Slingshot anyways, so I don't think it's as beneficial on Zach as it might be on somebody like a Mundo.
Yeah, or a jungler in general.
Yeah. Well, he was top lane. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So, that was a very weird item choice, in my opinion, especially because the build paths for the two are virtually exactly the same, except you turn that Ruby Crystal into a Balmy Cinder rather than a Giant Spell. The Thorn Mail on Zach is also a little interesting. It only helps against Misfortune and only Misfortune, and considering that it seemed like it was Hanguk's plan to split push the entire game, and MF was usually the one stopping the split push, that the Thorn Mail really just didn't help. He got burned down from all the AoE from Brand and died in the end. Can we go to damage taken quickly? We can do magic damage taken and physical damage taken. Okay, it's actually a pretty even split on Mundo. Let's see. So who ended up getting wrecked the most by who? So there's a crap ton of magic damage taken on the
Blue side.
on blue side, mostly from that Lux. I don't think Zach ended up dealing that much damage in the end.
All right. So we do have the invite if we are ready. Do you have any other thoughts? I personally think that maybe with Nocturne, Blade of the Ruined King might have been a little more helpful than the Ravenous Hydra. You get you get less wave clear and stuff, but it does allow you to duel a little more easily and take down some of the tanks.
Yeah, it was a difficult decision because he kept ulting in to kill the squishy targets, so there wasn't really a good time to build it during that game until near the end. And instead he opted for this full damage style build with a decent amount of CDR. I think in late game, when a single fight usually decides the game, the cooldown reduction sort of becomes a wasted stat on an all-in champion, and you're better off either getting flat resist or just flat damage instead.
All right. Oh, my invitation expired. Unfortunately. But yeah, I guess we won't be getting into the lobby just yet. I was kind of surprised White was able to solo kill Hanguk in the top lane at that one point. I think that might have been that could have been a make or break moment for the red team Gr8b8m8. Oh, I do need to update the score real quick. But
I also think a very vital enchantment to have against a team with that much catch, such as Lux and Nocturne, is definitely Distortion. Having Flash Up to pretty much force them into a crappy engage is extremely important, and only Misfortune ended up getting it that game on the blue side.
indeed, a wise choice. GBM actually went for a Haunting Guys in the end. That's kind of interesting. But here's the invite. Here we go. We are ready. Oh, I didn't even get to time ready. We're going into Champion Select right away. Let me throw up these spoiler tags. All right, so I kind of want to see Tom Kench getting banned out and maybe at least Jungle picked up because she hasn't been focused at all.
And right off the bat, Lux banned away from Mechlamax and the Dr. Mundo being taken away. I guess neither team wants to deal with this champion.
Yeah, SNSD has also played Aurelia in the tournament, so not very surprising that that's banned. Rengar banned again.
And Hecarim also taken away from SNSD Salida Kim. Hecarim definitely was one of these stronger picks for their team.
Yeah, 3 top lane bans. I mean, Mundo obviously was played in the jungle last time, but you can rotate him to the top side if you want.
And a Malphite ban. So both of these teams are relatively scared of each other's top laners and junglers with that Rengar Mundo ban.
Yeah, a lot of these champions are the kind of the engaged snowbally ones, like with the Malphite, with the Rengar, with the Hecarim. Whoa,
The
baby!
And
Okay, he exits. Oh my god. Alright, so Hunguk saying lag, accidentally locked it in. Legit okay. But yeah, should be same bans.
if that was anywhere deeper in the picks, I probably would not have let that slide.
Yeah. Just because it was the first one,
Yeah, it could have been like a playful thing. It wouldn't change any results. But
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, so these should be the same bands coming out. Irelia and then the Mundo, Lux, Rengar, and... Actually, they're leaving Thresh open
And the Malphite.
this game.
Yeah, there we go.
Which was permabanned from, I believe, Team 12 was permabanning it. Okay, so they do lock in that Misfortune.
Okay.
That was the first pick last game, and we saw how much damage she did.
Yeah, to
Light
really...
was so good on that
Yeah,
champion.
Misfortune has extremely high damage output, and she's great at team fighting, but she's pretty terrible when it comes to getting sat on in a 1v1, and that's where I guess GBM's diving back lane with Malphite and such would actually come into play, but sadly he wasn't picked this time. And I'd really like to see a Jax being played during this tournament. Jax or Illaoi. I think both of them are extremely strong right now, especially Jax with the Ginsu's Rageblade, and it's kind of weird that we're not seeing it. It seems the top lane meta, at least between these two guys, seems to be still roughly the same bruiser champions, with SNSD being more aggressive, taking the Ignite, and GBM playing more passively, using the team fighting.
In the semifinals, there's actually Gragas pick, so they are going to get a lot of good engage and zone control for their mid laner, Z Winston. He is very familiar with Anivia, but we actually saw Hunguk Jr. in the semifinals play Jax jungle with that Devour into Ginsu's Rageblade. So he was destroying people by the end of the game, but they did fall very far behind because it took him a little while to get there. Bard coming out, that'd be pretty interesting. Bard, a champion you need very good team coordination with, and so far, actually, except for maybe 1 or 2 fights, Hunguk and his solo laners at least have been very on point and kind of going in together, conjoining their abilities, but we'll see if Speedy Turtle is able to use the Tempered Fate to engage or disengage, but not going to be... they might be saving that for a later pick, or just rotating it around, depending on who has who champions.
So I like Bard a bit into Anivia. Anivia does have one of the larger character models and is extremely slow during team fights. So a well-placed Bard ultimate can completely stop Anivia from doing anything or just completely catch her out. And the brand lock-in also seems to be pretty popular this patch, with the strength of the Keystone Mastery, the Darkfire Touch, not sure exactly what it is. Pretty much Liandry's and his passive just continue to tick and stack. He does massive damage over time. Personally, I actually like building Morellonomicon first on him rather than going this Leandri's Rylai's build. I think CDR is very important on him. Pretty much as long as you can continue to spam spells out, everyone is always ignited, and pretty much everyone is always a stun target. If we saw last game, there were a bunch of Qs that were thrown out that didn't actually convert into anything since they weren't already on fire and burning. So I'd like to see at least some changes to the builds, but that's completely up to them. It is Mechlamax on it this time. Did he play it previously?
Mechlamax on brand? Yeah.
Oh,
Well, they both played it, but Mechlamax has been winning the lane every game.
Okay.
So, yeah, excited to see what he'll be able to do against Anivia yet again, if he can repeat that performance.
And I'm not sure if this is entirely true, but I think Braum E does block the entirety of Brand Ultimate and stop it completely if it is the first hit.
Yeah, that would be pretty great. Ganked by Mom actually going in onto the Rumble, and Hanguk did play Echo earlier on in the tournament. I think it was group stages. That combos very well with Bard, but it is difficult to make proactive plays. So it's really on the Psycho Bear if he can make these engages happen.
I actually think this might be slightly...
not
I think this is maybe too much of an overcommitment on magic damage on the blue side. It's pretty much exclusively magic damage and an MF.
A Fiora.
I don't know. Every single time I see Brand or Rumble, the first thing I think is Galio. I know most people don't actually play him,
Galio.
but he is ridiculously strong. He's unkillable against Rumble and Brand. You don't do damage to him. Every single tick of your damage heals him for more. So it doesn't matter what you do. And then he's really strong at flash engages, and he's pretty much like the Amumu. You look for the winning play, just stack MR and then win the game through CC. There's already plenty of damage on the other team. I would have liked to see that, but it doesn't come out.
Yeah, and SNSD Selena Kim goes in for that Fiora. I think that rounds out the composition very nicely. They do have really strong early bot lane pressure, especially with a Gragas. You can make turret dives happen. That being said, Bard's very good defensively against turret dives or aggressive. He's just good with interacting with turrets because you have the Tempered Fate and very low cooldown Cosmic Binding. But White has played Tristana several times this tournament already. Back on that Comfort Champion. Horo has played this several times. I don't remember seeing Selena Kim on Fiora, but I love Fiora just because every Fiora lane is pretty much a skill matchup. There are very few champions that outright beat her because you can parry almost anything. That being said, Rumble is one of the better champions against Fiora because he does more consistent damage instead of a burst that can be reposted.
Yeah. In the end, the most major thing you can really repost is the Harpoon, which he fires 2 of, and
yeah,
big whoop. I liked seeing that Gank by Mom did a little change there. Rather than taking Teleport, he does take Ignite, so he is looking for the potential to 1v1 and win during this lane. This could have been done from promise from his jungler saying he'll come gank, but who knows. So blue team has no teleports on their side, where purple team has 1, except Winston doesn't exactly seem to make too many plays with the teleport, mostly just to teleport back in lane and play catch up. Another interesting thing to note is the blue team once again has opted for heal on the support. This is generally done when your support takes the Wind Speaker Keystone Mastery in the Cunning Tree. This gives you bonus resists when you heal other people, and also with the added benefit of being able to heal through an Ignite, since Grievous Wounds only applies to your own healing, not healing done on you by other people. Seems to be a fairly common change that most supports are doing, especially ones that do heal in shield, such as Janna and Nami. Not so much on Bard, but that could just be preference. And then on the other team, they keep heal on the AD carry and exhaust on the support.
Yeah,
I like seeing the swap mostly when top laners are extremely aggressive. So for example, this Fiora, when you're an AD carry and Fiora dives you, a heal won't really do very much for you, where an exhaust can actually end up saving you. So especially against Fioras, Rivens, those kind, Zeds, anything like that, where your priority and your support won't always be able to save you every time. It's nice to be able to have an extra summoner spell you can depend on.
Yeah, I do. We have seen Z Winston go for the teleport Anivia combo, and he has been getting bullied in the lane, so I think getting the teleport is good because he'll be able to kind of keep decently even in CS, more so than if he would have taken a combat summoner. Although he didn't really use the teleport much outside the lane phase. He did have a good bottom lane gank at one point, but besides that, it wasn't that important. And I'm a little surprised that Gr8b8m8 did go for the Ignite because as Rumble, I mean, if you look at you're playing Rumble, what is your primary objective in the game? It's to land the equalizers to decimate team fights. And if you don't have teleport, it becomes a little more difficult to do that. But that being said, like you mentioned, it does give him much more versatility in dealing with the Fiora. If you fall behind, you can try to prevent her from, all-ending you. At some point, Fiora can pretty much 1v1 anyone anyways, but it does give you much more flexibility in when that happens.
Yeah, if we have seen the trends that these teams tend to be using, purple side, or I guess red team this time, with SNSD Selena Kim, seems to enjoy using a lot of early to mid game pressure, constantly split pushing the entire time, and Gr8b8m8 has usually been on the receiving end, constantly getting pushed back, being starved of some CS. So I do like seeing Gr8b8m8, I guess, deciding to step up and use that Ignite and pretty much say, no, I'm not going to get bullied this game. Making a stand.
Making the stand to make it count. He wants to end this game in the series in a 3-1 maybe. So far it is 1-1 though. This is looking pretty exciting.
And the Skintimidation coming out.
Oh yeah. You want to go over the skins real quick while I update the scores?
Sure. This game on the blue side we have Hanguk Jr. with the Academy Echo and Rumble in the jungle. Top lane, not in the jungle. Sadly, Rumble jungle isn't viable yet. One season.
I have a friend who goes by the name Ryan. He's played Rumble jungle in years past. I've seen it happen. You get some good equalizer damage out, but looks like they're not gonna be doing that just yet. We are in the game for the third of the grand finals for the Capital One Circuit 2015. Let's go by reading names. On the blue side, we do have team Gr8b8m8 in the top lane. There is Gr8b8m8 going for his signature rumble with Ignite this time. In the jungle, Hanguk Jr. on Echo. Mid lane, Mechlemax going Brand. Psycho Bear on AD carry with that exhaust. And Speedy Turtle using Heal Bard.
And on red side for Team 12, we have SNSD Selena Kim playing Fiora in the top lane. G-Hens50 playing Gragas in the jungle. Z Winston with Anivia in the mid lane, White on Tristana at AD carry, and Horo-chan on Braum for support.
Yeah, I want to see what happens in this early jungle because Hanguk Jr. invaded level 2, if you remember, and actually got the first blood against the Mundo jungle, and you can't really outduel Gragas as Echo, but he's been very good at reading the enemy jungler's map movement, so we'll see if he actually goes for any steals, or if he pairs with some of his solo lanes to try to shove early and then invade together.
Yeah, so Echo does okay in the jungle right now. He did go for the refillable potion, so he's probably going for the Hunter's potion, either clear one half of his jungle, recall, get the upgrade, and then go do the other half. In general, yeah, Echo doesn't have much of any invade potential against the Gragas. Neither of them really have the damage to kill each other, and they can just walk away. Gr8b8m8 does start the Harpoon. Interesting.
And we did see the Echo being played a lot at the NALCS finals at Madison Square Garden. But since that patch that they played on, the base damages on Echo's abilities have actually been nerfed. So what you used to see a lot of times is the Echo would go for a very high CDR tanky build, and oh my gosh, look at that damage from Selena Kim. But since then, you can't really be do as much damage just with the tanky items. A lot of harass coming out. Brand abusing his burn in the mid lane. White getting kind of hurt, and Speedy Turtle is kind of low, but as a support, of course, you do have the base biscuits to help out, but White actually goes in pretty aggressively.
Sadly, the Braum passive stacks just happened to expire. That could have been a kill if they didn't. The stun would have led to a pretty decent kill, and because Speedy Turtle is the one carrying the heal, he won't be able to heal while stunned.
That would have been pretty important. There is actually no Ignite. Oh man, here comes Hanguk, forces the flash out of Z Winston. Nice reaction from him, being able to survive, but at what cost?
And
looks like there's a pause coming out. We'll get somebody to see what's happening. Okay, looks like Psycho Bear getting some lag issues. We'll be, we can, while it's paused, we can come back. Oh, never mind! We are back in game. Just kidding, guys. Everything's alright. Hopefully the lag gets a little better as the game goes on. He is actually down 10 CS, so fortunate for him. But Ganked by Mom does have that enraged, and oh, a good repost onto his empowered auto attack. Man, it's the most frustrating thing as a Fiora player when all the vitals spawn on the bottom side of your enemy laner. You just don't have any options.
Never lucky.
Never lucky. Looks like Hanguk does, or Mechlemax. No, that was Hanguk. Put in a bit of a deeper ward in, try to spot Gragas ganking the mid lane. Because that will allow Mechlemax to play a little bit farther up, and he does have his own trinket ward that he can put down if he wants to put on the other side. Meanwhile, actually, SNSD Selena Kim with a really nice event. He has Ignite. He might be able to get first blood. Goes to Fiora. That is really dangerous.
That was a really good read there. There was not a ward to spot him out, so he just happened to... I guess he did do this last game, actually, when he was playing Renekton. He did do that deep invade to get that ward on the red buff very early, after he shoved his lane in. So I guess this is a pretty common thing for him to do.
And really nice job from SNSD Selena Kim. Now he has red buff. Ganked by Mom uses his flash already, and he's going to get slowed out. Are they going to be able to tank the turret to get the kill? Gragas gets the aggro. That's going to be really important, but Rubble's trying to turn it around. Is he going to get a kill? Ganked by Mom!
And that is why you banned the Rumble away from GBM.
Somebody sign this guy to Jin Air, because he's making plays. And the bottom side, things have come down a little bit. Psycho Bear seems to be doing okay. White goes in really aggressively to get extra autos off on his explosive charge, and Speedy Turtle gets the concussive blows procced out, but nobody's dying just yet. Both supports are out of mana almost, and out of potions. Actually, Speedy Turtle does get some of those chimes to refund a little bit of mana, but I don't know how much longer he can safely stay ahead, in front of this lane.
Yeah, Hanguk Jr. has decided to stay on the warding trinket, whereas G-Hens has gone for the red trinket. I guess Hanguk, oh, nope, Hanguk's just going in for the ganks, and the Anivia egg is popped.
Yeah, that was good read by Hanguk just being there at the right time, and how did that land? That was that cosmic binding, but it happened, so
It's magical.
otherworldly even. And Ganked by Mom, he has double buffs, gonna be able to apply some pressure. He also got the Seeker's Arm Guard.
Yeah.
Wow, gets the double harpoon off and going in with the flame spitter. Selena Kim trying to do what he can. A lot of minion damage though.
Even though GBM has managed to secure a decent amount of this lane for now, he still is being doubled in CS.
The Vital's on a perfect spot for Selena Kim if he wants to proc it, but Ganked by Mom wisely playing really aggressively, so Selena Kim can't afford to try to trade with him. Meanwhile, in the bottom side, Bard actually went back by himself. That means Psycho Bear is in this lane alone. Gonna try to get caught up a little bit, but he's gonna pay for it. Horo-chan, where's the concuss, or where's the winner's bite? There it is. They're probably gonna get a kill. There's no way he can really get out of this alive. Very good call from White going in there by himself. And meanwhile, on the other side of the map, SNSD making things happen with that kill. Now he's 38 to 18 CS, and he's gonna force Rumble to lose all these minions. Unfortunate for Ganked by Mom. But Fiora had the pickaxe. When Rumble, it was Rumble level 6 there, no, so good job abusing that level spike, but you just have to, GBM just has to kind of respect that Fiora burst a little more.
Yeah, even though he did have that nice play level 3 or 4, it was kind of due to an overcommittal by the other team, not exactly him outplaying, or I guess it is still him outplaying, but he didn't exactly put himself in that position. It kind of came onto him, and in general, the trend has been for top lane as SNSD Selena Kim has pretty much always been the lane bully, and he needs to, I guess, respect that damage.
Yeah, and if he's coming on to him, you might expect Selena Kim to buy him dinner first, but he's not trying to feed this game, so he's 2-1 going forward. He already has the Tiamat. We'll see if he goes forward. And I want to point out that you mentioned Gragas did go for a very early sweeper. He actually got the Tracker's Knife, so he can. That's actually like a mini slice. So meanwhile, Megalomax goes all in on Z Winston.
Ooh.
The passive wasn't up. Speedy Turtle goes to Ward, but at a bad time. Now he gets bursted down. A great explosive cast. Picks up kills on both sides in different lanes.
Wonderful play from both teams here. What I'd like to see Red Team do right now is get ready for a quick rotation. They do have the pink ward already there to take the dragon. Or I guess they can stay and go for the dive here. MF will use the ultimate to clear the minions, but they still want to do the dive.
Unfortunately, White did take the turret aggro, so he has to back off for a second. Now Horotan's going to take the aggro back. Is Psycho Bear going to get the movement speed to kill him off? No. Here comes Hanguk Jr. Is he going to get... Oh, a flash! And then he gets a stun and the ultimate! Is he going to be able to get a 1v3? No, the concussive blows. Are they going to be enough? Oh, almost, but White had enough damage to finish him off. That was almost amazing. It was still pretty good, 1 for 1,
But White did pick up quite a few kills there. Now 4-0. This is not looking great, considering that White is their strongest player.
I do want to point out that because Hanguk went for that very risky aggressive play, it got Jihen's low enough that they can't do Dragon. And apparently that's an NA Gromp, cause oh man, Jihen's, please.
Oh man.
Sad
Today
days.
is not his day.
Yeah. Today's not GBM's day either, apparently, because he's 40 CS down.
Ooh. Another nice thing to note is the number of pink wards that blue team has purchased. Or I guess red team, sorry. Red team has purchased and are in their inventories. They should be looking for some relatively aggressive wards.
Ooh, is he gonna go all in? He reposts the initial damage, but
Ultimate's traded off, but nothing gained from either team.
yeah, I do want to say that that was better for the Fiora because she has the lifesteal and because Rumble's kit revolves a lot more around his ultimate, I believe. So we'll see if she's able to continue to pressure this lane. She's using that Tiamat now, and even though Fiora kind of got nerfed because Tiamat got worse, oh man, she goes in, instantly gets a kill, gets Creepblock a little bit, but doesn't have the second turret hit. Is he going to be able to fight Hanguk Jr.? A double kill on Fiora. SNSD wants to win this game. Meanwhile, White going really aggressive on the bottom side. A double tempered face. Speedy Turtle.
Oh, sadly, the Q from Braum did not connect, so there was no chance of getting a stun there. Otherwise, it could have been very, very different for them.
Yeah, Speedy Turtle does land that nice 2-man tempered fate, though. You, that's when you flash the mastery emote and walk away, but this top lane is going to be so scary. Once Fiora finishes the Ravenous Hydra and starts building into the Black Cleaver, she's going to have the passive AoE, which means that she can completely outpush Rumble and just kill him whenever he gets back a little overextended into the lane. Speedy Turtle getting pretty aggressive here. He flashes forward for Cosmic Binding, but doesn't actually connect, so he just kind of dies.
Tried very hard there to force that fight, but sadly, he just got bursted.
He actually, White, I want to point out, White kind of subtly moved forward, so when he flashed forward, the Cosmic Binding didn't proc on both of them, and Braum's Unbreakable Shield stopped it so it didn't hit the wall. And if he had gotten the 2-man stun there, then Hanguk could have come in and they could have wrecked that fight. But because White walked forward and didn't get hit by the binding, they're able to get a free kill. And that looked kind of like a derp moment for Speedy Turtle.
Selena Kim just flexing the muscles top lane.
Yeah, I kind of want to see them go for the Rift Herald. And last game we saw them do it, but okay, they are going to go for the Dragon instead. This is pretty equally as good, but if Selena Kim were to get that Baron buff, that would make it even harder for Rumble to try to stay alive in this lane. They're going to get one Dragon. Are they going to... They could easily rotate this into a mid lane turret as well, but Megalomax getting pretty aggressive against Z Winston.
Considering Z Winston's playstyle, which seems to be just farming, using ultimate, wave clearing over and over and over, I don't really see the point of getting these early distortion boots. Why not just get the catalyst or some more mana regen to consistently do this over and over?
Yeah, that's... he doesn't have the distortion enchant yet, but just does have the lucidity. But yeah, I mean, you're pretty right. You can see he's already and now he's completely reliant on the blue buff. Hopefully that goes toward him. We've seen a couple brands, unfortunately not get their blues, but actually GBM goes in. He misses the equalizer though, and oh boy,
a bunch of
that was
missed
a
skill
little
shots.
unfortunate. So nothing really happens. And
That was quite a committal, and quite a few ultimates used top lane. I like to see red team do look for plays around the map, and that's what they're doing, and they don't commit to the chase.
yeah, especially using the Tempered Fate. I mean, Tempered Fate is a good engage tool, but against a Fiora who has like a 5-second cooldown lunge, it's really difficult to actually land that. And I do really like what we're seeing from White and his team's play here for Team 12. Because last game and the game before that, we saw them play pretty low-risk styles of play. But now White has been jumping in really aggressively, knowing when he can take fights. And that's, I think, what they need to be able to snowball this lead.
Yeah, generally the captains for most of the teams tend to be the shot callers too, because they usually happen to be the highest DLO and thus have the most game knowledge. And when you do have a captain that is an AD carry, if you keep extending this laning phase, they don't really have much time to focus on anything else and shot call during games. So now that White has taken a significant lead bot lane and taken that tower, he can start calling out the rotations, and this red team is slowly taking more and more objectives, and eventually will probably strangle blue team out of this.
Yeah, he has a 2,000 gold lead against Misfortune there. We saw Misfortune being first pick in 2 games in a row. Oh man, is he wins? Oh, nice Braum Unbreakable. You mentioned that earlier on. He knows his champion.
Yeah, I love Brand. Brand's probably my most played champion.
Nice. Not sure about that Gragas ultimate. G-Hen's not quite landing on that. That could have been a bit of lag, perhaps, but regardless, everyone kind of gets out safe and sound, and now Tristan's in the mid lane. They cannot hold this turret, except for maybe like a 3-man Tempered Fate, but
And Echo just
That's
did
so
use the
cool.
last of his mana, so they can actually continue pushing down for another lane, probably.
yeah, and now SNSD, Cillian, and G-Hens are on the top side. They're splitting up the entire Gr8b8m8's team, and that gives them the last 2 outer turrets. It's 15 minutes in the game now, so they can go focus the Rift Herald and then get the Dragon Winds back up and continue this really dominating split push, because honestly, Team 12 doesn't have an answer to the Fiora split.
Yeah, what blue team really needs is some wave clear. That's how you stop these constant pushes, especially against the Tristana. And the champion with the most potential for wave clear is Brand, but that's when he has CDR. Or mana regen, or just a combination of the two. When you go this full damage build, sure you can one-shot the back of the wave, but you still have this row of melee minions just coming down. And then with Tristana E, now with the rapid fire cannon as well, that's a lot of damage onto towers from a very far range. The only thing you can do against them is clear the minions.
I also really want to commend Team 12 when they're rotating to the mid lane. They have a huge ring of wards all around. They know that with the Echo Bard, the only way that they can lose a fight like that is if they get flanked, and they were on point in keeping that up.
Yeah, and red buff is actually donated over to SNSD Selena Kim. Even more kill potential and more resources being poured into this top laner.
Yeah, 5-0 in the bottom lane, 4-1 on the top side. We've seen, this is the Team 12 that was in the playoffs beforehand. They completely crushed their side lanes with early pressure and then collapsed the rest of the map. Horo-chan gets stunned up, but Brand does only about half health and he just walks away. Oh, a good Rumble Equalizer actually hits 3 of them, but Hanguk wasn't quite on point in following up instantly, so he misses the 3-man stun. And now White's actually going in from the backline. He's going to try to assassinate Psychomare. He gets that. Now he jumps back in. Nivea ultimate trying to zone off the rest of the team. And White using his range advantage to get a double kill. He's going for Speedy Turtle. Is that the triple? Oh, nope. Got hit by the turret.
It is the triple, but not the quadra. Rapid fire cannon.
Oh! Nivea's revenge. Power of the bird. He is the word. An ace for Team 12. That's going to be the inner turret. Dragons up in 1 minute, so the rest of Team 12 can just walk over and take that for themselves. This game is breaking open.
Yeah, the bad thing about this blue team, I guess, composition right now is that they all are damaged. There's no one to really tank anything. And when you have this long-range Tristana and this very bursty all-in Fiora, no one can peel, no one can frontline. Everyone just dies the second a dive occurs. And it's really easy to set up this dive or a catch or an engage with Gragas, Anivia, and Braum.
Yeah, making these plays happen is completely reliant on that Tempered Fate usage, and honestly, we saw that really nice one in the bottom lane, but in terms of team fighting, there hasn't been one that's really made or broken a team fight. And, I mean, I know you mentioned that Gr8b8m8 has a lot of magic damage on their side, but do you really need 2 Aegis of the Legions?
You can definitely benefit from having a, whatchamacallit, the Banner of Command. Especially because this team loves split pushing. You could banner one lane, put Selena Kim in the other lane, and then have the other 4 continue down, barreling down mid or something. And the other team really only has MF as the only option for killing a banner commanded minion. The auto attacks from Rumble are simply weak brand as well. Echo does have some decent auto attacks, however, because he does have that Roomglaive, the Sheen passive won't actually help him either.
Yeah, and now Tristana has that rapid fire cannon as well, so they can burst the enemy down pretty quickly. We'll see if they actually do get the Rift Scholars so they can have vision if Red Team tries to do any sneaky Baron plays, but they don't want sneaky Baron plays. They just want to walk up and take the bottom turret because Gr8b8m8 isn't responding.
Yeah, their siege of Red Team is just too strong right now. They have all this zoning potential from the threat of an explosive cask or an Anivia wall. It's just way too much for Blue Team to even attempt to wave clear at the moment.
Yeah, and now Hanguk is trying to defend against Selena Kim, but I don't know if he can really make that happen. He went for the tanky CDR build again, and you can see he's having a little bit of trouble clearing all these minions. He can use 2 Time Winders to clear them, but he might not have that luxury every time because Selena Kim is going aggressive.
Anivia just finished, or a couple minutes ago, just finished the Rod of Ages, so Anivia's actually going to start doing damage too now. I don't really see Blue Team having many methods of winning this game. Brand Ultimate is a great spell for forcing engages with the Rylai's, but the Braum shield just completely nullifies it. Especially because there's pretty much no other targets to use the Braum shield on. MF Ultimate, I guess, would be okay, but for the most part, if MF is using Ultimate, Brand probably will too. And that's pretty much about it. So Braum does have the ability to just sit there and wait with that shield to look for that Brand Ultimate.
Yeah, and now Team 12 is actually baiting a Baron. I don't think they actually want to start fighting the Baron because with all this team fight AoE, you really don't actually want to get into a fight near that river pit area. But now they're all rotating to the top side together, maybe trying to make something happen on this turret because White doing some decent damage.
Another thing to note is that Baron only shreds magic resist, so against a team with 4 APs, it is quite a risk to attempt Baron, especially this early on.
Indeed, here comes the Tempered Fate. He actually gets 2 of them. White still got the ultimate off. Here comes all the AoE wombo combos. A good Braum shield tries to block it, but Gank by Mom is relentless. Triple kill on him, and Hanguk wants bird blood. He wants to eat some fried chicken. A flash. Cosmic Binding this time works out. That's the fight we needed. That was the Speedy Turtle we needed. That is the Baron they needed.
What an insane wombo combo team fight there. That was absolutely ridiculous from everyone on the blue team.
Yeah. Oh no, Speedy Turtle. Rest in peace. Hanguk just... Oh no, Hanguk! Rest in peace! This is, that's actually pretty important that they both died there because they had Hanguk dealing with the EU mid. They had Hanguk dealing with the split push pressure against the Fiora to wave clear a little earlier on, and if he doesn't have a Baron buff, he's gonna lose a little bit on that trading power. But I mean, honestly, if they get into a split push situation, I think they're gonna lose out either way. They need to force more fights like that.
Yeah, and it is going to be the Locket on the Gragas and the Banner of Command on the Braum. To be honest, I would have swapped this because Gragas actually has AP scalings, whereas Braum pretty much has... If I'm actually correct, I think Braum has 0 AP scaling. So, I guess the CDR is not... maybe his ultimate I'm not entirely sure. But either way, the AP would have been more beneficial on Gragas, so I would have liked to see the slight amendment to the item build.
Whoops, thank you. Yeah, he just scales a little bit with his ultimate, but yeah. Well said there. And Tristana goes for Runan's Hurricane now. What do you think about that item as opposed to something else like it? Oh man, but here comes a pause. Freaking Hanguk saying I can't move. That kind of sucks. Hopefully we can get somebody over there to talk to him real quick. In the meantime, I'll switch back over to this camera. This game is blowing up with some explosive casks.
Oh, and the pause is resumed.
Oh, just kidding. Oh. Hurry. Oh my gosh. So Tristana just jumped in and shut down ganked by Mom, but looks like White is completely caught out here. He uses the Buster Shot to try to get out, but getting a little bit hyphy there without the rest of his team. On the bottom side, Z Winston's trying to do something himself. That was a little chaotic right after the pause. And Mecklenbax has the home guards now. Ooh, a really nice
Does get the
wall.
Rylai's proc down, but unable to follow up.
They do get the middle inhibitor turret, so being able to be aggressive in every single lane is what Team 12 wants to do. They want to split up the enemy team and avoid getting wombo combo like that yet again.
The red team is taking this magic damage more seriously, building MR on nearly every single player now, except for the mid lane.
And they're gonna just try to tank this turret. Here comes G-Hens. I don't think they can really stick around here. Misfortune, not really the best at rushing turrets down. Better at poking in with that love tap. And Selena Kim back in the split push against Gank by Mom. And even though Gank by Mom has finished his Leandries, he doesn't have the Zanyas yet, so he can't really stay in this lane very safely. Oh, but he does go in. The repost actually doesn't hit anything, but Selena Kim doesn't care. He does so much damage. The Ignite comes out. It doesn't matter. Just enough healing from that grand challenge.
Fiora is quite ridiculous right now. Also, something to be noted is the CS differential in top lane. It is 95 to 232.
Holy moly. Flame Horizon is long gone now. The banner command actually comes out on the bottom side, so Misfortune is going to have to deal with that herself, but it's times like these where not having the teleport really hurts on your Rumble, because we saw he has to deal with the Fiora split push, otherwise they lose free inhibitors. But if you don't have the teleport, then you can't get your team composition to really shine.
Also, tisk tisk, G-Hens. It's free to upgrade your trinket once you hit level 9. You're level 12.
Oh, man.
Clearly still tilted from missing that blue buff in the first game.
With that Sonic Wave, don't remind him. And now they're all just kind of walking down mid lane. What? Hanguk Jr. is actually on the side. They don't have vision of him. He could get a great flank stun if he really wants to. Okay, he does not try to come from behind. I think it would have been nice to come from... Oh! They only get Horochan though, so they're going to have to try to deal with him. Meanwhile, they go in Explosive Cast, brings Hanguk Jr. back in. He actually gets a good ultimate off on a lot of people. Meanwhile, the Rumble Ultimate's getting dealing a lot of damage. Gank by Mom kills Horochan, but Fiora is killing the backline. This fight is really spread out, which is bad for Gr8b8m8. They're somehow managing to stay a little alive, but White is meanwhile functioning the inhibitor. He gets the reset. He's going forward onto Psycho Bear. That's a shutdown onto him. They get the inhibitor. 4-4-2 in that fight.
This most likely won't be the game since GBM is up to help defend and Speedy Turtle's up in another 5 seconds, but this is a pretty huge turn for the red team. The red team is the one with the banner of command and the other team is the one covered in magic damage, so minions are quite good at pushing against them.
Yeah, and White going to be taking that. Look at the vision control on this map. Blue team has a couple wards, whereas the entire bot side jungle, is along with the entrance to Baron, is lit up for Team 12. So their vision game has been on point. No, obviously, thanks in part due to this Tracker's Knife. Now, with that inhibitor gone, it's going to be even more difficult because you can have Fiora in the top lane, have the rest of the team, or Fiora in the bottom lane, the rest of the team in the top lane, and then you still have to split somebody to deal with the mid lane. So all in all, getting the window is closing on. Well, I guess it's not really a window, but there is much more difficult for Gr8b8m8 to deal with this for the next few minutes. And with the Baron buff coming up in 1 minute and a half, everyone's going to kind of group around here, get some vision control. G-Hens with that. Oh, okay. Yeah, just kind of threatening the engage there. Hanguk, is he going to be able to get a stun onto White? No, he goes in a little bit early, and now G-Hens kind of throws in his explosive cask, but it doesn't really hit anyone. Hanguk Jr. actually dies instantly, and now Psycho Bear had to... that ultimate did not do a lot of damage. White is going through onto this. That's a triple kill with an ace. This will probably be the game. White is flashing forward, burning the edge, and actually a surrender comes out from Gr8b8m8. I don't know what the camera is doing right here, but well played. That was a bit of very nice job by Team 12 in that last fight. Wasn't very coordinated by Gr8b8m8, and Psycho Bear having to be the instigator worked out once, but it was other times didn't really do exactly what they wanted because their abilities weren't quite in sync all the time.
This is quite an amazing series so far. Back and forth from both teams and back and forth during the games. That one pivotal team fight top lane where the AoE wombo combo just happened to work out. And it was a clean 5-for-0. Normally that's enough to completely turn games, but luckily White's team buckled down, decided to, I guess, play a little more safe, not group up as much. And I guess the nice Gragas flank with the displacement on the Rumble did help delay that ultimate, and in the end, helped them win the game.
Indeed, you can see both Brand and Rumble doing a lot of damage there. It wasn't even Misfortune, and Misfortune was their first pick, but I don't know if it really panned out for them.
Yeah, I think they mostly wanted to deny the Misfortune from White after seeing it for the last couple of games. White has clearly very good at 1v1ing with Misfortune, laning with Misfortune. Every time he's played Misfortune in lane, he has been zoning and up in CS and able to 1v1 late game. So I think this might have been a decision to take a pick away from White since they can't decide to ban him, since they feel that banning champions off of GBM seems to be more important.
Yeah. And this entire series, Hanguk hasn't gone for the Devourer. The style he played in the quarterfinals, in the semifinals, that carried him, allowed them to come back from these deficits that, like they experienced in the last game. And I wonder if he's going to go back to that.
Yeah, Devourer's this patch is still very strong, if not stronger, since Ginsu's. Even though Ginsu's was nerfed a tiny bit, I believe it was dropped, it costs 300 gold more. It's still a very effective item. And it scales extremely well on champions like Master Yi, Xin Zhao. It's even somewhat decent on Nocturne, but I still think Hydra's better.
Looking at the damage taken, so much physical coming out just from the Tristana. White really took the game into his hands. He played aggressively. He said, you know what, I'm going in and we are winning this fight whether you want to or not. And the rest of his team followed through.
SNSD Selena Kim seems to be the player that most of these games end up revolving around. Pretty much they exert this huge amount of pressure top lane, and it doesn't seem like the other team really knows what to do. In the last game, the case was pretty much Hanguk had to camp top lane, always Nocturne ulted top lane, constantly, over and over and over, looking for picks, converted to late game, started ulting other champions, but for the most part, he kept Nocturne top the entire game. And this game, he clearly just completely took control of the game from top lane. It also helped a lot that White was able to snowball from bot lane as well. But it seems like SNSD Selena Kim is definitely someone they should continue banning out, but they need to figure out another way to deal with someone who split pushes this hard. Generally, against split pushers, you want to have either someone who can 1v1 and stop their split push, but not quite sure if GBM is up for being able to survive that 1v1. So in other words, they need to have some hard engage, either on their jungler, support, or in their top laner, which GBM does play in the form of Malphite, which sadly has been banned away from them. So it seems like they the other team has a great game plan, and they know in order to win these games, they need to keep SNSD Selenikin big and keep GBM down, and that's what they've been doing.
I also really want to see Hanguk go on some early game, along with the Devour junglers, I want to see him go on some strong early game dueling champions. He played, for instance, Shinzao, who's really strong at fighting in the jungle, and because when he was on Echo this game, he wasn't really able to do much aggressively. He was mostly trying to follow up his team and try to counter gank, but sometimes, like when Bard flashed forward for the Cosmic Binding, that didn't really work out. And Hanguk, I think, needs to be on a champion that he play makes with, because he has been the star for their team in their victory.
Yeah, he is, I believe, their team's shot caller, so he needs to be able to safely shot call. So in the case, he did play this interesting Runeglaive CDR boot Echo. It had some great damage and pretty good ganks in the mid game simply because it outdamaged people. But once it hit the late game, he went in, got hit once or twice, had the ult out because he just couldn't take any of the damage. And I don't think playing a tanky style jungle is, I guess, Hanguk's strong point. So he needs to play these strong, engaged, diving sort of junglers. So I'd like to see Shinzao. I don't think he really plays Lee Sin. Maybe a Nocturne again. Namely AD junglers that do a lot of damage. I'm not sure why Vi isn't being seen more often either, considering that both, at least against White, as a strong AD carry player, Vi is probably one of your worst nightmares.
Yeah, I do want to point out that in the group stages, Team 12, their opponents, the only game they lost leading up to this final series was against a high damage composition with a Vi jungler for the engage, where she just went in onto the jungler. So if they get rid of Tahm Kench and just get that Vi as an example, that would give them one way to try to punish White for making these really aggressive jumps.
Yeah, White definitely made a couple of missteps later on, or somewhere in the mid game, being extremely aggressive. But for the most part, he knows exactly how much damage he can take and deal, and ends up carrying these team fights, being extremely aggressive. And I'm guessing usually coming off of a victory, teams tend to be slightly overconfident. So hopefully with picks like Vi or something who's more reactive, the Q from Vi can actually stop Tristana mid-jump. You can do a lot of things to just completely nullify aggressive play.
Yeah, also with the CC that Gr8b8m8 had in the last game, a lot of it was delayed. Like, you have the parallel convergence from Echo, that takes a couple seconds. You have the Tempered Fate, which you can jump out of